Maple Grove as a football rivalry is renewed here tonight in the Osseo School District. It is the Osseo Orioles making the trip up County Road 81 to take on the Maple Grove Crimson. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Joe Moline, and a lot of excitement for this one, Joe. Just because of the rivalry, yes, but also because of how well these teams performed in week one. It was Maple Grove destroying Armstrong and Osseo taking care of a decent Centennial team as well, so they're pretty pumped up about their season-long chances as well as tonight.
Yeah, the big offensive outburst from Maple Grove makes this one even more exciting, and there's a lot of promise in that Maple Grove football program. We expected to see that a couple years into Lombardi's reign, and I think we're seeing that here now in year two. Osseo strong as ever, and that makes these two teams a good rivalry, yes, but also maybe two teams are going to be competing in the section and conference championships.
A lot of new faces in the lineup for both of these teams, so you always wonder, how are these new guys going to jump in? And I think in both cases for both teams, they saw a lot of good performances from guys who were maybe kind of bit players last year, saw some time as backups.
Yeah, absolutely. Some new players stepped in for Osseo, especially at the quarterback position after DJ Hebert led there for 2 years. And then also you have Tussler coming back, but a lot of new offensive and defensive linemen really stepped up and made the coaching staff proud.
Talk about key players to keep an eye on in tonight's game. Again, since both these teams did so well offensively, we're going to talk about some guys who will handle the ball. Bridge Tussler for Osseo is not exactly a secret. He's been a good player in this league. 5 touchdowns a week ago, and I would put him as certainly one of, if not the best offensive players in this conference.
Best offensive players in the conference, also one of the better athletes out there. Obviously a great basketball player, but defensively made a big interception at a key point last game when the game was close at the moment. But offensively can do a lot. Carry the football, he can catch the ball as well.
And for Maple Grove, we said quite a week last week. 2 100-yard rushers, 2 100-yard receivers last week in their season opening win. And Jack Wallach's one of those guys who they expect to do some good things running the football tonight.
Yeah, their most experienced ball carrier coming back here offensively for Maple Grove, and he's going to be a key player here tonight. Only 11 carries last week. I would expect more this week, and really to keep that dynamic offense from Osseo off the field, he'll have to have a big game here tonight.
Certainly going to be battling some wind. We didn't expect to be saying wind chill on week number 2, but a little bit different conditions, obviously, than what these teams faced in week number 1. Cramps, though, shouldn't be a big problem.
Cramps were a big problem in week 1. This week it might be balls thrown into the wind from the quarterbacks, so pay attention tonight to which way the wind's blowing and how those coaches and the quarterbacks react in the quarter that they have the wind at their back.
All right, bragging rights on the line, and one team will stay undefeated, the other will go to 1-1. It's Osseo, it's Maple Grove, and it's up next on 12 Sports.
So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part. New research tells us that just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Wanted some matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try.
Only you.
Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about nothing very nice. Homeless mind. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire.
An 18-year-old has been charged with a shooting that critically injured another person.
Last week, one of the vehicles disappeared from this lot in plain sight. Ultimate goal is to develop an app that gives the visually impaired turn-by-turn directions.
Event organizers say many of the fences here were about 20 years old and were in need of replacing.
Hits this one well out to left field, and that one's going to be in for a hit. It bounces to the fence, a run scores. And welcome back to Maple Grove. Live coverage Friday night here. If you're watching Friday night, Osseo and Maple Grove Northwest Suburban Conference football as we get set to tee it up. Great crowd on hand. A little bit of a cool evening and a strong breeze blowing in from the north from left to right on your screen here as Maple Grove gets set to receive the ball here to start the game. So they'll get first crack. Osseo will be kicking with the wind, however, so gonna probably be able to pin them fairly deep. Clark Winicky, number 26, back deep, along with Brian Yasoski, number 34, who had a huge game, averaged 30 yards on 5 carries last week against Armstrong for the Crimson. Getting set to kick it off will be Aaron Berg for Osseo. You know, one of those things with you choose, do you get the ball first, but the wind picking when you want the wind is going to be something to think about in this game tonight as well. So Osseo will try and see if they can't pin them deep. Orioles defensively last week, I think, played fairly well. Got away from them a little bit later on, but overall did enough to get the job done. Yasoski will take the kick on the 3-yard line here, cutting out to the left side, has a little bit of a room, and he's out to the 27-yard line where the Crimson will start at first down and 10 on their first possession. And their head coach, Matt Lombardi, now they've been a defensive guru now over working with the offense this year. And boy, just a dynamite beginning for them in all ways against Armstrong. Blake Skaya getting his chance now as the quarterback after Brady Jacobs has graduated. He was dynamite. Their backs were good. Their line blocked very well. Had a good performance by a couple of wideouts as well here. So here we go, first down for the Crimson. Coyne is the fullback. And they turn and go with the toss out. Wallach makes a cut and runs right into an Oriole there as Lamar Wallace meeting him up there. Minimal gain there, maybe a yard or so here for the Crimson to start it out. There you see what Skaya did in the opener. Can't beat that for efficiency. Maple Grove missing one key guy. We'll talk about him a little bit later in the contest, but Jake Winicky not in uniform here tonight. There's a look at Osseo's defensive alignment. Skaya rolling out to the left, throws and juggled and caught. Bryson Woida, great receiver for the Crimson, and that'll be a first down out to the 40. And he had 10 catches in the opening game of the season, and that was certainly no fluke that he was able to haul this one in.
Woida, one of the best athletes in Maple Grove High School, also great basketball player as well, and not a great ball thrown there, but it was on target at least. Woida got some separation from a good route, gets to that first down marker for the first down of the game. And
as Joe talked about in the pregame, Bridge Tussler, 34, just too valuable an athlete to use only on offense. He's out there on D. They hand it off to Woida on the sweep. Woida has some room into Osseo territory, and he'll pick up about 15, but a flag down. This one might be coming back, it would appear.
Flag was right in the position of what usually it's a holding penalty along the line of scrimmage. Unfortunate for the Crimson as they did a great job of sealing that end, perhaps because of a hold. But Woida sent in motion, gets the handoff and gets the edge very quickly. Then you saw Woida's running ability in the open field.
So mark it all the way back to the 30 there. It feels like a double whammy when you had a good play and you lose the yardage here. So you're trying to get her out on the corner.
You didn't see a very obvious hold. I saw maybe 2 blocks that could easily have been called holds. Nonetheless, the Crimson will have to battle back from being back in their own end zone 10 yards now.
First and 20 here from Maple Grove. Skaya handing off, just barely got that one away, and the Orioles are all over it. There's a stop made there by Mac Pierce and company for the Orioles. Got about 2 on the play. And let's go to John Jacobson. He joins us from the sidelines here tonight.
Well, thanks, Jay. You know, in the pregame, you talked about those outstanding individual offensive performances last week for Maple Grove, and one of the guys was Jake Winicky, who had over 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, sprained his MCL playing pickup basketball this week. He'll miss not only tonight, but he thought probably next week as well. Hopes to be back on the field in 2 weeks, and we'll certainly miss him out there this evening.
2nd and long. Skya under some pressure, throws, gets the pass away, completes it to Austin Bees, and they'll get about that penalty yardage back, or nearly anyway, pickup of about 8 on the play. And you get 2nd and long, you get a relatively safe completion like that. Put themselves in a manageable spot here, at least on 3rd down and long. There was a little heat coming.
That play action fake, and it really was only to get the line of scrimmage moving one way. The fake wasn't really well carried out, and it's a good thing it wasn't, because it saved them some time and allowed Skya enough time to get that throw off, and they cut back into that holding penalty a little bit here. A much more manageable 3rd down, but still not in the position the Crimson would like to be in.
Carter Bergquist on that last stop here for Osseo. 3rd and a dozen now. Skya rolling out to the right, has pretty good protection, throws, and it's tipped, nearly intercepted, as it was Bergquist getting up and getting a piece of that one, and then the receiver was slugged pretty good behind him as well. Just didn't quite get that one over the reach of Bergquist, who's not real big at 5'10", but he got up in the way of this one.
Well, Bergquist was in a good situation in that he was not covering anyone individually man-to-man, so he got to float back there, and give him credit. As a linebacker, he got a deep enough drop that he was able to make an impact on that pass. If he had not dropped as deep, that pass could have been completed.
Tyler Field, the lefty, bouncing at Tussler, fielding it on the hop, and he is immediately wrapped up and dumped. Jake Engelken and Emmanuel Eric there to drop Tussler in his tracks. Kind of a gamble to play that one, but you don't know how many more yards that one was going to bounce if he didn't. So was sure of his hands there and was able to scoop it up. But a 32-yard punt and a short loss of 1 on the return for Osseo, and they'll be coming out offensively. Garrison Gillard, the senior quarterback for Osseo, very good athlete. A little bit of a struggle in terms of completion percentage in the first game, but handoff goes to Tussler here, wrapped up by Theo Fryer, the defensive tackle there for Maple Grove, after a pickup of 3, maybe 4, about 4 on the play for Bridge Tussler.
You see the Osseo Oriole offense right away going no huddle, not allowing that Crimson defense to get set.
Back to Tussler, lowering the shoulder there, runs into Crimson tacklers and keeps driving. Stretches that ball out. He's going to be pretty close and might even have the 1st down here. And he will indeed have it, as Tussler showing his power between the tacklers. Pretty good breakaway runner, but 5'11", 200. He's going to win a lot of one-on-one battles with tacklers as well.
He saw a great double team there in the interior.
And they don't win this one. Tussler dropped in the backfield, and Matt Endres getting there first, the linebacker, and he will knock him back for a sizable loss. Boy, on just a straight ahead handoff when you're losing 3-4 yards, that's good penetration. Maple Grove really brought everybody.
Andrews got great anticipation coming from that linebacker spot, getting in the backfield as soon as that ball was snapped. Virtually untouched there to get that big defensive play.
Tussler, they plan to use him in a few different spots. They've got a real speedster they like in the backfield as well. James as Hampton. Pass this time is complete. Matt Medke with the catch, and he will have enough for the 1st down here. There's a flag down, way downfield.
Well, it could be possibly a block downfield, but I'm guessing it might be a hit out of bounds as well, as it came towards the end of that play. Not a great job on the outside by the Crimson, and closing on that catch. There was an open tackle opportunity for the Crimson to keep that well short of a 1st down. The Crimson don't execute properly. Allows the Orioles to get that 1st down, and we're getting some indication now what that penalty flag is.
Face mask on the play.
Maple Grove now making a couple of mistakes, which has led to Osseo driving inside their own territory. Offensively, they had the football, they were moving the chains. Holding penalty brought them back, allowed them to eventually punt the ball back to Osseo. Now you see a physical mistake on that broken tackle. That gave Osseo a nice 1st down.
So into Maple Grove territory here at the 46. Gillard play action rush is coming, and he's in trouble, and down he goes. Peter Olson gets to him, and he'll drop Gillard for a loss. Never really had a chance to see him coming until the last second.
Olsen's unblocked here on this play because he is supposed to bite on that fake. That's what Osseo's defense is counting on, but they also aren't counting that he's on a dead red blitz, which he was, and he did a great job of reading that play and using his speed to get to the quarterback.
They lose 8. Pitch out goes to Jamin Hampton, trying to get around that edge. And not a bad gainer, but when your previous play lost 8, it's still going to leave him with a long situation coming up. He does pick up 7, though, on that run. And Darren Lamker said flat out, fastest kid on our team.
Olsen made the great sack the play before. That time he was met by the blocking of Bridgeport Tussler as 34 lined up on him and drove him off the ball. Allowed a lot of running room from his co-tailback.
3rd down, 11 now for Osseo. Allard looking to the bench. It's a nice thing when you get up to the line quick. If you want to change, you've still got a little time. Allard firing, and it's intercepted. This one looks like it could go for the touchdown. White takes it, and he is gone. Maple Grove on the scoreboard first. Flag at the end of the play, but this touchdown will stand. A couple of guys were mixing it up a little bit, well away from the ball, as Bryson Woida saw that one coming, jumped it, and he goes in for the touchdown.
Well, what a read by Woida. Talk about how good of an athlete he is. Athleticism was there with the catch and the speed to get the touchdown, but that also is just understanding what Osseo was trying to do on that play. Great anticipation. Yeah, there's 3 field. 3 flags on the field as all the officials saw the same play, and if I saw it the same that they did, it should just kind of go both ways. Your personal foul on each player from each team. Neither one looked more guilty than the other, and this play should stand, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, there were a couple of guys scrapping at the end of that one.
Boy, I think this one might be coming back. As you can tell, Coach Lombardi not too happy at all. The ball's already been brought out of the end zone. This does not look good for Maple Grove.
We might have spoken too soon about this one being post the end of the play.
Well, the hard thing about it is
he is calling a dead ball, which should result in the touchdown standing. Touchdown is good.
Well, and I also don't understand how it could be on just one player. I mean, the way I saw it, it was both players. But let's go back to this anticipation from Bryson Woida. Absolutely jumps on that route. A great read as Connor Kittleson was setting up just short of the first down for the Orioles. I mean, Woida, I think, in protecting that first down marker, kind of was sitting with his heels along that first down marker, and then when he read that hook, he jumped on it.
Woida will come on to attempt the extra point, and his kick is good. So with 6:38 to play in the first quarter, a defensive touchdown for Maple Grove. Woida goes 55 yards for the touchdown.
You know, the impact of Coach Lombardi is probably being felt in many different areas of this Maple Grove Crimson football program, but that one right there is kind of one that sticks out to me, Jay, because how many times have you seen that in a Wayzata football game? Now, I can go back in my experience watching the Crimson. I see them play excellent football year in and year out, but never to the level where they're able to take a turnover and put points on the board defensively. That's something that Coach Lombardi made a staple at Wayzata. Now you see here for the Crimson in a big game against Osseo.
And boy, when you're Kittleson in that spot, you realize, uh-oh, this is trouble. I mean, you can't, and it's hard. You've got Woida already with his momentum going forward. It was, you either catch him in the first couple steps or you're probably not going to.
Well, and the play from Woida, too. I mean, a lot of times when people get a good read on a play, you go for that big hit, right? You're just kind of keening on that receiver, and you're going to stop him short of that first down. Boy, he was hungry. He went after that football. They made that catch and really made no contact with the receiver. Basically went around him rather than having to go through him to get to that football.
Here's where Maple Grove gets hurt, though, by the penalty, as they will be kicking off now from the 25, the 15-yarder. You know, 3 flags through, and you have to believe, you know, 9 times out of 10, as Joe said, you're going to get offsetting. But there must have been something that they all saw or felt that one guy initiated or really carried it too far, and so the penalty goes against Maple Grove. Osseo on the return is Troy Cray. Cray into Maple Grove territory at the 34-yard line, so that penalty certainly hurt them. They're also kicking into the wind. Well, just like that, Osseo gets a good return, not anything real out of the ordinary, and look where they're at, the 34-yard line.
Sorry about that, Jay. And they get some of that momentum too. And Eric Scripseth was the player who got the penalty for Maple Grove. And I without knowing what happened, I will kind of blame him a little bit in that when your team's scoring a touchdown, who cares what the opposition's doing? Go down there and celebrate with your team. There's no need to taunt, no need to even defend yourself. Just get in there and celebrate the 6 points you just put on the board.
So Osseo with it at Maple Grove's 34. Handoff going to Hampton. And Hampton will pick up a couple on the play. There is a look at Darren Lamker. The Osseo head coach has done a tremendous job with their program, and he knows that Maple Grove is probably only going to get better. He likes to play the underdog card and the we're poor Osseo card a little bit, and it's all part of it. Second down and long here for the Orioles. Hampton getting out wide left and dragged down. Nice individual tackle there in the open field. Grant Purdue, number 27, able to drag him down.
Great job by Purdue. That play got strung out nicely. You saw the running back get to the edge, and it looked like it was probably going to be able to get upfield and get some yards for the Orioles. But Purdue strings it out, doesn't get faked out there on that fake inside cut. Keeps his feet moving, lets his feet take him to the ball, and makes the tackle. Timeout. Coach Lombardi taking a timeout defensively now, and boy, you mentioned him being an offensive coordinator. Look at him right there in the middle of the thick of the defense.
There is Coach Lombardi, is of course the architect of a lot of the Wayzata defenses over the years, and was always, much to our humor, very quick to call timeouts. And maybe it might be 2 plays into the game. If he didn't see something he liked, he might be making the jog out there now. Defensively, it obviously wasn't because of that. It was a poor play by any means. They very good stop there on that tackle by Purdue, leaving them with a 3rd down and 8.
Here at 12 Sports, we have the opportunity to cover all kinds of great coaches and a lot of good football coaches, but you know, these two right here rank among my favorite to cover just because of their passion for their respective teams and what they bring to the table for teams and how much these kids learn about the game of football from these two coaches. Really, truly, two great coaches Osseo and Maple Grove should feel very lucky to have.
3rd down, 8 coming up here for the Orioles. They trail at 7-0. Go to Hampton on the ground. And pretty good stop there. Not going to be close to the 1st down. Osseo looking like they want to hurry up and get to the ball and see if they can catch Maple Grove. Man.
Osseo will try to probably... Well, that's a good play call by the Orioles. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for Osseo. I think they're going to get the false start here, and they didn't get set. But Osseo last week, a number of times on 4th down, tried to draw the defense off sides, ended up calling a timeout. This time they're going to use that thought in the head of Maple Grove to their advantage, and they're trying to go to quick count, 1st count.
Maybe a little bit of an early start on the right side of their line, I guess, but now it'll be 4th down and 8. It looks like they're still in a spot here. I mean, punting isn't going to do anything for you, so certainly still in a spot to go for it, although it changes things a little bit here. I don't think you can just look and hand off and expect to get 8. Hustler's out wide to the left. Lard dropping to throw. Throwing the other way with the fade, and too long for Kittleson. He was covered by White out there pretty well anyway, so Osseo will turn it over on downs, unable to take advantage of that excellent field position after the kick return.
And that's where the growth and maturity of Gillard will learn from that play right there, because the over-the-top fade wasn't there. Woida took that away at the moment of the snap. Kittleson noticed it, kind of tried to slow down. And you know what you see a lot of times in big-time football now, it's that back shoulder throw where you throw underneath a little bit. That would have been the proper throw, throwing it underneath and hoping that Kittleson can break a tackle.
4 receivers out to the left. They throw it out there to White, a little screen, and it is Cray wrapping him up. Solid gainer for Maple Grove. A little different look there. A little bunch formation out to the left.
You see White, they're going to try to find different ways to put the ball in his hands now. They've thrown it down the field to him. They've strung it out to him right there, and they've also handed the ball off to him. He tied a school record for receptions last week with 10. but I think he's going to average almost 10 receptions per game this year because he's too good of an athlete, and you have to find ways to put the ball in his hands. As a receiver, he's going to get handoffs, and he's probably going to touch the ball over 10 times per game, whether it's through the air or through the handoff, and of course also punting and kicking, returning the football.
Yeah, he's so versatile. I mean, he could take handoffs as he did earlier. He can catch the ball. I think he can throw it a little bit if needed too. Skaya rolling out to his right. And well covered was Wojda. He adjusts though and gets behind it to make the catch. Tussler was ready to take that one away. Good patience by both receiver and quarterback there, and they get the completion as Wojda just changed and cut behind, just get open at that point.
Wojda and Tussler are kind of a fun matchup to watch as they both are covering each other this evening. And that's just a great communication from Skaya and Wojda, who have not played together all that long, to come up with that play. That's a big time play. And of course, Wojda and Tussler are also very familiar playing against each other on the basketball court as well.
Osseo state champ in that sport last season in Class 4A. First down and 10 here for Maple Grove at the Osseo 36. Crimson leading it by a score of 7-0. And flag will fly here as a false start to Maple Grove. They were kind of all starting at all different times there.
Looked like Zach Corbin, guilty party on the left end there, wide receiver, but was kind of playing in the tight end position with no hand down. He did a little bit of a jerk movement, and then he kind of called himself out by looking over at the official and seeing if the official got that. It was kind of a late flag, but it was the right call.
Back to the 41 now, 1st and 15 for the Crimson, who've been solid. Skaya 4 out of 5 throwing the football, 3 of those completions to Wojda. Toss back coming to Wallach. Wallach running it, runs into Cray, but a solid gainer to the 35. So they will pick up about 6 on that play.
Skaya going 18 of 22 a week ago here and 4 of 5 today. I mean, you're hovering right around 80%. That's quite a percentage in high school football. It gives you quite an advantage. Look at the offensive line for Maple Grove going to work now. Good power football, a good double team there along the left edge. A nice push by Dylan Berg on the outside for the Crimson.
Remember Osseo's Dan Lamper telling us last year, you know, he was kind of happy when Maple Grove didn't just run the ball down their throat because he felt like that's where Maple Grove might have an advantage. This year, looks like they're trying to do a little bit of each. They're still going to throw the ball plenty, but Skaya setting up a screen for Yasoski and didn't get himself turned around in time. The ball was actually pretty well thrown, but he still had his back to it and didn't see it coming. That one might have went pretty well if they'd been able to complete it. Osseo had 4 or 5 guys right in Skaya's lap, but they didn't recognize that, and nobody peeled off to play that screen.
You said it, Jay. There was no recognition from Osseo up front. That's why it could have been a huge play for the Crimson. He saw over 6 Osseo Orioles that got up ahead of the running back there. That means there's only 5 back there with all the blockers ahead of him. What a big play for the Crimson if they were able to complete that one.
And it was hard to tell again from looking at it. He didn't appear to expect the ball coming that soon. Skaya rolling out wide open is Wojda, and let's see who's got it. It's a touchdown. Maple Grove, Bryce and Wojda. Tussler wound up with the ball eventually, but they rule it's the offensive player with the catch. Ball was actually a little underthrown there.
I think Tussler purposely kind of let him go open, knowing that he could close the gap. But unfortunately for Tussler, Wojda just goes up and gets it. And then at the very end there, the officials didn't let them fight it out. They made the call early before Tussler had pulled that ball away. There was a touchdown call much earlier than when Tussler got that football. Maybe not fair if you're an Osseo fan, but a big play by Wojda once again for the Crimson, who's really put this team on his shoulders here early in this first quarter.
Boy, he was wide open. Ball was a little underthrown. Again, into that wind certainly was probably the reason. This kick is wide left. So the extra point fails, but it is Maple Grove 13, Osseo nothing. 2:43 to go in the first quarter. The big play is going Maple Grove's way.
Well, and I was kind of watching this. You can't see it in our narrow screen, but Tussler was back there with Wojda, but just kind of let him run behind him and then tried to make up that distance. He nearly did. Let's take a look at the catch one last time. You see Wojda, you see why the call went the way it did. Now, had the referee maybe not indicated touchdown right away and let things play out a little bit, that would have been a touchback and football in favor of Osseo. I honestly, I can't even take a side on it, Jay, whether I think the referee made the right call or not by putting his arms up, signaling the touchdown when he did. Woida misses the extra point. That's one of the issues I've always had with football. If you can't get a kicker on your team, and if it's the star player who ends up scoring touchdowns and is absolutely gassed, it's tough to have that guy be your kicker, kicking the extra point. Now kicking off, you'd like to find times to give number 10 a break throughout the football game, and unfortunately it's not in the kicking game.
Cray coming up will take it on a hop. Cray looking for some room as he cuts it out left, and he has some space. He'll cut it back over the 40 and wrapped up around the 43 or 44 yard line. I don't think that was really intended to go that way, but he decided that there was a lot of space that way, and maybe my blockers aren't all there, but neither is much of the defense.
Time for the Osseo offense to respond a little bit, and they're going to have to get some better play from the quarterback position to do that. Offensively, their offensive line's done a pretty good job up front moving some Crimson defenders around, but in order to pick up that big first down on a third down conversion, they haven't been able to do so through the air.
On the 44, the handoff to Tussler. He's met immediately, able to get past that first little wave, but there's just too many Crimson there. Emmanuel Eric ends up finishing him off, and it will be a sizable loss. They just sent everybody after Tussler right there, which I'm thinking he's going to see a lot of this year.
Well, you saw a lot of penetration there from 8, and that's why parents, if you think your kid's too small to play football, it's a new game now right now where it's all about speed and the ability to get through tackles, as Blake Whitecotton got into that mix right there for Crimson.
Toss back goes to Tussler. Broke the first tackle, but there's just a lot of bodies there again, and a very short gain of maybe a yard.
You look at this Crimson defense, and there's just not a lot of size on the football field, and you'd think that would be a problem, but it's really not, because the Crimson are right now moving around and going around the blocking of Osseo, and they're playing with more speed defensively than the Osseo offense is meeting with them.
3rd and 14 now on the 40-yard line here for the Orioles. Tussler in the slot to the left. Gillard stepping up into it as Kittleson wide open and just overthrown. Kittleson might have slowed up a little too much there. And that time you talked about before, Gillard maybe not recognizing. That time I think by him slowing up, this might have cost them a completion.
Well, this is where I got to give Gillard a lot of credit. He steps up in the pocket perfectly and then throws the ball on the run a little bit, gets good air underneath it, puts it out there for his receiver who was wide open. And as you mentioned, Jay, Kittleson had slowed down a little bit, unable to get to that football, but that was a great play by the quarterback.
Kittleson will kick it here. White waiting back deep. Has a lot of room as he fields it on the hop and then pitches to Tyler Field. Field gets by, but a flag is down. This is going to come back. There'll be a block in the back there, it looks like, on Maple Grove. And we have an injured Osseo player as well.
What's wrong with that?
Looks like Jordan Hawley is the injured player for Osseo. A couple different flags came in.
I believe I saw the block on Hawley, and I really hope he's okay. I don't want any player to be hurt, but to me, with my live eyes, it looked like a clean hit. We'll have to take a second look in a moment, but it is a block in the back on the Crimson. Another mistake by Maple Grove, causing them considerable field position after a great reverse return. White gets a nice bounce.
I know, but it was late. If you're going to throw
There's the flip, and
there's a push in the back a little bit right there. So that was the first play. The second one comes, we're a little too tight to see the big block. There it is at the end. You can see it coming into your screen. This will give you a good look right here. There's the push in the back. That's a legit call. That's the penalty on the Crimson. But here comes the injured player right there in your screen. And that one was also called a block in the back. There was 2 block in the back penalties on Maple Grove in that run.
so they will be pushed back to about their 12 or 13 yard line, and there's a look at Hawley being helped to his feet. It was more awkward than anything. The player fell into his legs, it looked like, as on the completion of that block. The original block, I think, might have been one of those where he was possibly going to get around him anyway, and it might not have been needed. But
well, and that's what I see a lot of times on change of possessions and special teams plays. The block and the backs are sometimes unnecessary.
So the Crimson facing a long field here. Direct snap coming back here to Wallach, and he will run it out over the 15. About 3-yard gain for Wallach there.
I'd expect Maple Grove to keep the ball on the ground maybe one more time here and then go into the second quarter with the wind at their back and have maybe a throwing situation on third down. But you got cautious of a turnover this deep in your territory, and also the wind will be at your back in just one play.
Maple Grove showing a lot of different things so far. That was the only back there was Wallach on that first one, and took that direct snap. Now Sky under center. Toss out to the edge, and it's complete. Bryson Whiteout will be knocked down a little bit short of the first down. That is almost a long handoff, though, when you with those guys.
That's really what it is. It's an extension of the running game when you have a receiver you want to throw the ball to. And look at the wise play by Osseo. They're going to call a timeout, make Maple Grove run this play with the wind in their face. However, it's third down and short, so you're really not going to be throwing the football downfield all that much anyways. And if you look what Maple Grove's done in this first quarter in their passing game, really the ball hasn't made its way downfield necessarily as much as it's moved laterally in the air.
There you get a look at the all-time series. Maple Grove leads 15-7. Osseo, those won 5 of the last 6. And for the high school kids who are in there, you know, in high school right now, to them, Osseo always wins this game for the most part. But over the years, there were a long time when Maple Grove won every year. And Osseo beat them the very first time they played. And then after that, it was a long stretch where Maple Grove always had command of this. And now, again, like I said, we're kind of at the point where got back to be a little bit of a toss-up. Well, if Maple Grove converts this first down, Osseo might end up feeling like they wasted a timeout. But if they don't, well, then it might. Well, actually, this play will use up the end of the quarter anyway. Boyd takes that handoff. Nice tackle there by Carter Berquist. So at least, even if they have to punt, it would be with the wind at their back as we flip ends anyhow here. And it does indeed look like they are going to have to punt. So we will have reached the end of quarter number 1 here on 12 Sports at Maple Grove High School. The Crimson leading the Orioles 13-0. Back with our second quarter in just a moment.
2, 3, this isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
And welcome back here as we get set to begin quarter number 2. Maple Grove in a punting situation here. 4th down. 4th and about a yard. Field is the punter. Tussler drifting back to midfield. Field do that running rugby-style punt, left-footed. It's very short, and it takes a good Maple Grove bounce. It goes out of bounds into Orioles territory around the 45-yard line. So about a 35-yard play. So the Orioles get the football back here. It's not been the kind of start they had in mind, but trying to get things cranked up a little bit. Tussler has been held pretty well in check. Haven't thrown the football with much success either. Their offense, certainly after putting up 37 a week ago, been not the kind of start they had in mind.
And just a big credit to the Maple Grove defense. I think they've taken away Osseo's speed to the outside.
Flag down before the play can get going here. A false start against Osseo. A little surprised we haven't really seen them throw the ball to Tussler yet.
Well, and that's what I would expect to see. Similar to the way that Maple Grove uses Whita is the way that I expect Osseo to use Tussler. Get the ball to him in the open field in the flats, and I don't know too many defenders that can tackle him in a one-on-one situation.
Back to the 40, 1st and 15. Gallard throwing over the middle, and that pass incomplete. Trying to go to the tight end, Harrison Lucas. They had that set up how they wanted, but just not quite able to complete it. That pitch fake to Tussler, I think, drew some defenders.
And that's one that's really going to eat at the coaching staff for Osseo, where Lamker drew up a perfect play. They executed it perfectly up front, got the blocking, got the defense to bite, and the passing catch just wasn't there.
Gallard fakes, now takes off up the middle, and he will advance it out over the 45. Picks up about 5 on that play. Good, quick, decisive move there. Good decision to tuck it and go. 3rd down and long now. 3rd and 9.5 or so here for the Orioles. Fakes the pitch. Gallard hit as he throws. It's up for grabs. Wide open is Lucas, and he's got it. The defense able to catch him inside the 10. How wide open was he? About a 47-yard pickup there. They were all coming after Gallard, and he did a great job hanging in. He threw it up for grabs a little bit, but it was so wide open. Lucas waiting for that one to come down.
Again, that pitch fake draws a little bit of the defense in, but then the safeties, I think, helped. They bit a little bit on the outside receiver. Grant Purdue had jumped over, thinking that he was going to have to cover one of the wide receivers, and he missed the tight end coming down the middle.
Tussler taking the handoff. Burrows forward to just inside the 5, give him about a 4-yard gain. So just like that, Osseo in business here and on the doorstep a little bit as they've got it 2nd and goal. Back to Tussler. Tussler wrapped up and thrown to the turf. Caught immediately by Gunnar Ayers there. Ayers, 5'11", 200-pounder, and able to take him down for a loss of about 2 or 3.
Look at that play where Osseo gets the big pass reception. You know, that play was very close to being an interception if the coverage is there, but also a sack as the pressure from the outside had just about got to the quarterback. So just a fraction of a second there in favor of the Orioles, and that's the big play that Osseo needed.
And we've got a flag. Osseo, no, going to be against the defense, it looks like. Blake Whitecotton into the neutral zone there, so Maple Grove be a half the distance penalty here. Down inside the 4-yard line now, so 3rd down and goal to go here for Osseo.
This is where that undersized defensive front for Maple Grove will be put to the test as Osseo, good, big, experienced offensive line, will try to get the better of that smaller defensive unit for the Crimson.
Hampton takes the handoff, keeps the legs driving, and he is in. Cray gets in. I'm sorry, they decided to go with Troy Cray taking that handoff. Did a good job on a couple of kick returns, and this time able to punch it in, and Osseo is on the board for the first time.
Cray is the stud linebacker for the Osseo defense. He's one of their tougher players in this football team, and they wanted to use him in that short situation. I think Hampton's much more of a speed back, so they wanted to bring Cray in to bring the power, and that power proved worthy.
Berg's extra point is good. And so now with 9:46 to play here in the 2nd quarter, Maple Grove's lead is trimmed to 13-7.
Take a look at Cray now. He gets tackled, or gets wrapped up rather, right at about the 2-yard line. But the strength of Cray brings him into the end zone. And on that missed tackle for Maple Grove was Grant Purdue. And that was a tough possession for Purdue because he was the safety, I think, that might have had the blown coverage and also missed that tackle right there. And he actually, I don't want to say chewed out because I don't know what was said between him and Coach Lombardi, but Coach Lombardi, he was the one player Lombardi went and talked to after the defense came off the field there, and they had a pretty lengthy discussion. Lombardi trying to get him fired up for the next defensive possession, but 7 points given up by this Maple Grove defense, but a good offensive response from the Orioles.
I think kind of a much-needed sequence there for them as a team, and I think Gillard obviously gaining some confidence on that one. He hung in there. He was about halfway to the turf when he completed that one, and sure, it wasn't pretty, but it got there. As he was being thrown down, he got enough on it. He was strong enough to get that ball deep downfield to the tight end Lucas. So here is Berg kicking off now into the wind. He's going to keep it low and on the ground. Taken by Yasoski on the 10 and weaving his way out over the 35 to about the 36. So a nice little cut got him about 5 more yards there. And Maple Grove, now their turn to try and respond. They look very good offensively in the early going, and obviously got the defensive touchdown as well here, so they maintain this 13-7 lead. Haven't really run the ball all that much here tonight. It's been mainly through the air that they've done their damage.
Well, and Yasoski, who just returned that kick, I mean, he had 3 touchdowns a week ago running the football and hasn't really had his name called much. He's going to jump in the backfield on this possession on the first play at least.
Here is the toss. Yasoski takes it, and Berquist wraps him up from behind. He will pick up a yard, maybe 2 on that play on his first attempt there.
I have to imagine Maple Grove excited on this possession, not only to respond to Osseo, but to get that wind at their back for the first time. Good job done by Osseo's Berquist by getting to the outside there and forcing that play up the middle, and then he even got off his block from the fullback and recovered to make that tackle. So good play on 2 fronts.
They did a pretty decent job of stacking up the big tight end, Jacob Sterling, 6'5", 245. He got driven back a little bit. Skaya in trouble, and he's sacked, and he fumbles it, and it looks like Osseo's got it. They do.
It's all about playmakers.
Skaya was blasted, and then the recovery made by Troy Williams. Even from up here, you're thinking, does he see him? Does he feel this coming? And, oh, down he goes.
Troy Cray was all over the place a week ago in that big victory over Centennial. Look at Cray, 17, coming to your screen. And Sky had no clue it was coming, had no way to protect that football. What a big play by the Osseo defense. Cray getting the big touchdown, jumping on the offensive side, now getting the big turnover to put his Orioles in business.
1st and 10 on Maple Grove's 25-yard line now. Gillard fakes the handoff, rolling right, throws complete. Big collision there as he hooks up with Joshua Riley Phillips. And he will be spotted down at about the 16, give him 8 on that play.
Riley Phillips has to be excited to take over in a position that was well filled last year by Cal Bloom and Will Johnson.
Flag down on the play as Tussler takes the handoff, and we might be getting Riley Phillips whistled for this one as he had a takedown that may or may not have been the infraction here.
Matt Enders had come across the line of scrimmage and met him and lost the battle, but got a flag. I believe you're right, Jay. That was probably where the infraction happened, and that was a big one. As we've seen, penalties really been drive killers this evening. It's not so much the defenses that have stopped the opposition in this game. There's been a lot of penalties that have really stalled drives.
So back out to the 28-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 13 coming up now for Osseo after they were in such great position after they sack and fumble. Gillard in some trouble, got away from the first tackler and breaks away from another. Gillard still on his feet and then dragged down from behind. Good second effort by him, but then also by the tackler Emmanuel Eric, because he was the one who missed him initially.
Yeah, Eric had great pursuit initially and got off a block. That's why he doesn't get a great crack at him here, because he just had gotten blocked at that impact. See, Andres wasn't able to make the tackle, but Eric gets back into it. And good blocking everywhere else for the Orioles for the quarterback to even have the kind of time that he did to get back upfield.
So after all of this, we're back kind of to where we started. 3rd down and 10 now for Gillard and Osseo. About 7.5 minutes to go in the first half. Orioles down 13-7, but now they're going to take a timeout. Get everything squared away here, so they will face a key play coming up here as well, you really want to convert when you get that turnover, get that momentum, and get some points on the board.
3rd down and 10 coming up, and it looked like Tussler on that play was split out wide to the left on the far side of the field, or near side of our field, but with the most running room available to him, and Wada was going to cover him one-on-one. Could be a pretty interesting matchup here on this 3rd down and 10 play.
Yeah, we saw that matchup the other way where Wada won it with the touchdown, although Tussler yanked the ball away shortly after, according to the officials, the touchdown had been scored.
I assume I have to wait until we're off the air to ask you your opinion on the call and which way it should have went. I haven't heard you speak up quite yet.
I was okay with it, to be honest. Once you say he's got it in his hands, then plays over. It doesn't really matter what happens after that.
I would rather see
close.
the referee be sure about his call, make the call, and go with it. Obviously, they don't have the luxury of replay. We do, and we still don't know what the right call is in some regards. Different formation from what Osseo originally showed.
3 receivers out to the left. Tussler behind Gillard in the backfield. And faked it. Now he's in some trouble, and down he goes. White Cotton rides him down. It didn't look like everything was quite in sync for Osseo with that one. He faked the handoff there to Hampton.
That was a run play. It didn't work out. It was either a run play or a screen play. The only reason I'm saying that is a number of offensive linemen had went downfield to block. So in order to do that, it would have had to have been a run play or a screen play, and it just never materialized for Osseo.
I really think from the looks of it on that second look that it was supposed to be handed to Hampton, but maybe they just weren't quite in sync timing-wise. 4th down and 13 now for the Orioles. Gillard under pressure, throws and incomplete. Looked like he had that one on the receiver pretty well there, and the Kittleson couldn't haul it in. There was quite a bit of traffic, but it appeared to be a catchable ball.
You saw Scrivseth, the defensive tackle from Maple Grove, bearing down on the quarterback right there. And Gillard did a good job, hung in there, and made a pretty good throw on a tough 4th down conversion. Looked like he maybe did his job. It just didn't happen on the reception end of it.
Yeah, you see it again. It's one of those where you got your hands on it, but it was still a difficult catch. It was not an easy one over the middle like that. But so Maple Grove holds after they had a turnover. They were able to come up with a good defensive stop. They get the football back here on their 28. Skaya rolling out right, throwing, and this one's intercepted. Turnabout fair play here. And down the sideline we go. Osseo in for the score. Tony Gamache able to pick that one off and get down the sideline. He is in for the touchdown to even it up.
Boy, the defensive touchdown. And Skaya, who was so perfect a week ago, you can't blame him for the fumble that he gave up. A previous possession, but this one here, maybe not enough juice on the football, but you really have to give credit to the defensive play. Again, great anticipation, good speed, and then taking it all the way to the house. Great finish.
Osseo looking for the extra point and flags down. Maple Grove came across early here, trying to get a jump on this block. Must be half the distance here. See if Osseo still intends to kick this one through. I would sure think so, because it would give them a 1-point lead. So Berg will, it appears, still kick the ball here. Actually, I think they're asking Osseo, do you want to decline this penalty, or do you want us to move it up? You could certainly change your mind and go for 2 here. Then it should be closer, but it doesn't look like that's what they want to do. I think the fact that this can put you in the lead certainly makes it an easier call to just say go ahead and take 1. And it is wide to the left. So each kicker missing in this direction.
Take a look at the touchdown again. Skya rolling out, has to throw over the defender, maybe shielded a little bit, but I think he still would have made that throw anyways. I just think this is a great defensive play.
Gamache picking it off at about the 30, and Skya had a decent chance at a tackle, and he just went right over him. So he tried to go for the roll leg block there.
Yeah, and Skya, you know, as a quarterback, you want him to try to make that tackle, but you also don't want him to get hurt. So you don't really blame Skya on the tackle necessarily, as you might want to have that throwback and see if you can't put a little bit more juice on it. But then with that said, he kind of had to throw it off his back foot a little bit and get it up over top of the defender. So every little thing counts in that, because of the penetration that they got from the defensive line and that pressure that was being put on Skya, and the fact that his hands were up in the air, took some mustard off that football and maybe happened to really play a big role in that interception.
Berg, a high short kick. This one, it's going to stay on the field. Yasowski picks it up and stopped just short of the 35-yard line, or excuse me, 25-yard line. Maple Grove, well, the momentum has certainly changed in this one. Osseo coming back strong here in this second quarter after Maple Grove had the better of things early. They've each had an interception returned now for a touchdown. So now it's kind of Maple Grove's, the onus on them to try and get back to what they had been doing well early.
And what Maple Grove has to think about right now is, hey, it's a tie game. You know, we're right back where we started, because right now they probably feel like Osseo has all the momentum in the world, which they kind of do in their corner right now, but we've seen both teams ride the wave. That's Maple Grove football with the wind at their back.
Skya handing it off up the middle, and Wallach is wrapped up by a host of white jerseys. Cray and friends in the backfield there, able to stop him. You see how fired up Osseo is right now. No gain on the play.
I don't think football teams are going to find a lot of success running the football this year against this Osseo defense. Cray, an excellent linebacker, comes up, makes a play, but also a lot of defensive linemen in there as well. Lamar Wallace, 6'3", 260. Rakeem Felder, 6'2", 235. A lot of size up front, and Coach Lamker says these big boys can move as well.
2nd and 10 coming up here for the Crimson. Skya fake the throw, now looking and in trouble, and he's going to throw this one away. Wojda, he didn't feel was sufficiently open there and decided to just get to the outside and live to play again here as he throws it away.
And Wojda might have made a pretty good decision here too. As he came back to the football, he realized that he might have a bigger impact trying to block for his quarterback, Skya, rather than try to put his hands up and try to get open. He got one little block in there, but it still wasn't enough to free Skya up to run the football, and he makes the smart play of throwing this out of bounds, live to see another down.
When you see so often high school quarterbacks aren't willing to just do what he just did right there and realize that the play had broken down. We're not going to get anything. I'm just going to play it safe here and throw it away. Timeout taken here by Maple Grove as they face a 3rd down and 10. Kind of had the feeling early on that they had things, you know, coming into the game and exactly in mind what they wanted to do offensively, and the majority of it was working. And now adjustments have been made. Osseo's given them some trouble, and now they don't look quite as sure of themselves.
Well, the interesting thing that's happened too is I don't know necessarily if Osseo has adjusted and shut down Wojda, or if Maple Grove has simply gone away from a little bit here to preserve him throughout this football game. They haven't really called number 10's number as much on those short passing routes. And 3rd down and 10 is not the situation to really do that on either. So where Maple Grove was successful earlier on in the game, they were getting good chunks of yards on 1st and 2nd down. They weren't facing 3rd down and 10. And the other thing just to kind of recall here is Maple Grove has only scored 1 offensive touchdown, so it's not like their offense clicked the entire game here. They did have 1 defensive touchdown. Each team has a defensive touchdown, so it's kind of been a pretty balanced on both sides, defense and offense, stepping up at different times.
So 3rd down as Skya will work out of the shotgun here. And another flag will fly here, and Maple Grove has really been hurt. 6 penalties already.
Yeah, there's a lot of flags on the field here tonight, especially on the Crimson side, and it's not something you want to see in week 2. It's still earlier in the year, but with such a short season, you want to try to get a lot of those kinks out in week 1, not in your big rivalry game against Osseo in week 2.
So 3rd down and 15 now. Skya rolling out to the right. Running out of room, throws it up, tipped, and let's see, is he in bounds? Yes, it looks like it'll be a pick. Yes, interception recorded there by Nick Breck. Or Tussler actually coming away with the final grab.
You see Skya, he almost throws this football because he was running out of turf himself. Ball gets deflected up in the air. Tussler comes in and gets another interception. Had one last week against Centennial as well.
He was in.
Gets both feet in, good in the NFL as well. And again, Osseo really getting great field position, and Maple Grove continues to turn the football over 3 possessions in a row.
Millard in trouble, and his pass incomplete. Looking for Lucas, the tight end, feeling out to the right. He's right down the sideline here. We were pretty well blocked by the players. It was hard to tell. First of all, is he inbound? And actually, even the number, I couldn't tell. Sorry about that, Bridges. He was shielded from us pretty good there, but a solid grab. And clearly, as Joe said, well inbounds, 2 feet inbounds even.
Well, and you saw Wojda was the one receiver over there along the sidelines, along with 3 white jerseys and 3 defenders. So there wasn't much of a play to be had there, but worth taking the chance on 3rd down and 10.
2nd and 10 now. Gallard stepping up, runs into his own man, and then lowers the shoulder. He paid a price, but he got some decent yardage there to about the 36. Give him about 5, maybe 6 on that play.
A nice job done by Gallard because he gets good positive yards when nothing was there for the Orioles. And with what he does here now, he gives them a good, manageable, medium-sized 3rd down play when you're in 4 down territory.
And off goes to Tussler. Tussler wrapped up. Solid job by the Maple Grove D. Nothing there at all. I don't think he even made it back to the line of scrimmage. And 4th down upcoming here now for the Orioles. Tried to go with a little counter, and it did not have Maple Grove fooled.
I wonder, because of the way your defense is playing right now, you're making Maple Grove scramble if you don't punt this football and just put it super deep, but not give them the luxury of getting that field position and with a stop.
See if they actually will go for it or just try and draw them off here.
Hey, roll that post, Bryson, roll the post.
And now they're going to use the timeout, so they are quite possibly going to go ahead and punt it. Maple Grove, their crowd congratulating them for not jumping offside, which is sometimes easier said than done when you got a big 4th down play coming up. Great crowd on hand here, as you would expect.
And I still think maybe Osseo is going to go for this here, but the timeout allows Coach Lamker to talk to his team, really get the right play called for the situation. I think that's what we're going to see out of the huddle here. Osseo would love to keep the momentum going, convert here, get a 1st down, put some points on the board before half. The only risk you're running is you give Maple Grove that momentum back, perhaps with a stop, and they really are in deep search of some momentum because they've turned the ball over 3 consecutive possessions offensively.
Got about 4.5 yards to go here. You know, if it was a little shorter, you might say, I'm just going to hand it to Tussler and see if he can get it, but we'll see here. Gallard tossing it back, going to throw it. Tussler throwing it deep downfield and just fails to click, going for Kittleson. And the long incompletion will give Maple Grove the football. I saw this one in practice the other day. And Tussler, you could see, was looking to throw all the way. not too bad a coverage considering. I mean, he broke open a little bit, but again, you're thrown into a pretty strong wind as well. There wasn't an enormous area to get that ball in. So Maple Grove, another defensive stop. They get the football back. 3:58 to go first half on their own 36. Skaya to Yasoski, and a nice hole on the right side. Yasoski into Osseo territory before Cray rides him down. Just into Orioles into the field here. Give him 14 on that game.
I got to give Cray a lot of credit here. He's making a lot of plays for Osseo. Even though this one's a big game for Maple Grove, he saves this from being an even bigger play. Other credit goes to the tight end, Jacob Sterling, who got a block initially, and then continued to work downfield looking for more Osseo defenders to pick off. A good job up front as well by that offensive line. Best run of the night for that offensive line unit for Maple Grove.
Right on the 50 is where they'll spot this one as Wojda comes in motion. They toss it back. Wallach taking it. Wallach trying to get out wide and does a pretty good job. Cray comes over to knock him out of bounds after Tussler had tried to wrap him up, but it'll be a gain of 7 on the play for Maple Grove. So starting to get things going a little bit on the ground game.
They get A.J. Den, big 76 out in traffic. He can't make the block on Tussler, but Wallach with the stiff arm handles him himself. He's able to get 3 more yards on Tussler, who's a very good tackler in the open field. Cray had to come over and help to finish that one off.
Second down, about 4 here for the Crimson. Skaya handing it off to Yasoski, and guess who? Cray is right there to pound him. Bergquist was also in there in the vicinity, and Cray coming through and drives him back for a loss of 4.
Cray's been absolutely everywhere in the first 2 games this year. That time, a lot of penetration across the board for the Orioles defense, but it's 17 who finds his way to the football. And remember, there was a tackler last year on that Osseo team. It used to be Hammer time all the time. Hammer was making every play. I feel like Cray has kind of filled the shoes quite nicely here this evening, all over the place.
Probably bigger shoes too, even. Cray, a 6-footer. Skaya. Cray got a piece of him, but not enough. Now Skaya tucks it and goes. Ooh, and he takes a hard hit. He'll be short of the first down by a couple. Skaya throwing his body into the mix there, and he's not a real big guy. Not real small either, but a 5'11", 170. You see he got away from Cray initially, and then watch the hit at the end here.
Pierce McKinley comes in 32. Good hit right there. Along with another Oriole, Grant Sealock, to finish off that tackle. Sky has taken a couple of big hits tonight. He's jumped right back to his feet both times. That one where he fumbled, that was a huge one. Pretty big one there. Huge play coming now for Maple Grove.
4th and a long 3 for the Crimson. Just inside the 43, actually slightly less than 3, I'm sorry. 4th and 3, and they're going to use a timeout here. 2:06 to play in this opening half, and you can sense that even though it's the first half, these coaches realizing that these are some really important individual plays. I mean, obviously you got 4th down coming up. You don't want to have any doubt. Is this the call I want? You don't want to have any doubt among the players. What exactly are we doing here?
Well, and it looked like that time they maybe were having trouble getting the big tight end, 6'5", 245-pound junior tight end Jacob Sterling, lined up on the right side. There was maybe some question on which side of the field he should have been on. So better to call the timeout, use that last timeout of the half, get this play right. You know, the real advantage Maple Grove has in this situation, not so much the wind at their back with 2 minutes to go, but knowing that if they don't convert, Osseo has the wind in their face. I think that helps give them a little bit more confidence to go for it here on 4th down.
Wojda in the shotgun. He will take it and run. Bryson Wojda is going to have the first down for Maple Grove. And he will pick up 4 when he needed 3, and it's a first down for the Crimson.
Kind of like Maple Grove of yesteryear. Last year, I thought some of the best Crimson plays were when Brady Jacobs would take the ball and run with it. And then later in the year, they even experimented doing that a lot with Woida taking direct snaps.
Under 2 minutes to go now in the first half. 1st and 10 on the Osseo 39. Toss goes back to Wallach, gets away from a tackler and into the secondary goes. Wallach has a chance. One guy to beat, and he's going to go for the touchdown. Wallach breaks it for 39, and Maple Grove's back in front.
The best chance Osseo had at Wallach was in the backfield. There was some penetration along the outside. Wallach with an excellent cut, and there must have been pretty good blocking up front, because once he decided to cut that up in off tackle, he wasn't touched by any of the Osseo defenders. His speed then took him to the outside.
So Maple Grove retakes the lead. Woida on to attempt the extra point. And the kick is up, and it is good. So with 1:41 to go in the first half, Maple Grove back in front now, 20-13.
Look at the early penetration from Osseo. Just enough of a block on the outside into the backfield. I think it was Carter Berquist for Osseo, and it looked like it was Zach Corbin, the wide receiver, who got the big block. Take a look at it. It's going to be 4 being blocked by 6. Just enough there to get the angle. And Wallach, good speed, gets the ball into the outside arm, and then not enough speed from the defense from Grant Seelock to be able to catch up. That's a pretty big answer for the Crimson. I mean, I had to think that their offense was getting pretty low in confidence when they had thrown a couple interceptions, fumbled the football. Osseo's defense was really playing some sound football, but they move the ball a little bit, get a couple of good runs, and then they get that big 4th down conversion.
So we'll see if Osseo has an opportunity there. Out of timeouts, they'll have to presumably go a ways here with Woida kicking with the wind at his back, although you got some dangerous return men back there too with Cray and Tussler. And he does get a lot into this one. Cray going all the way back, and it's going to be a touchback. Not able to handle that kick. I kind of expected when the night started, looking at that American flag in the end zone, that we might see a little more of that. Got plenty of leg on it and puts it back. So Osseo, anytime you, not only do you like the fact that they're starting at the 20, but you kept the ball out of some dangerous guys' hands there.
And for Osseo in this situation here, they have the best of both worlds because they have Bridge Tussler. They can be aggressive, but still maybe keep the ball on the ground. You can be aggressive by putting the ball in 34's hands and see if you can't get a big play from him.
Boy, Maple Grove done a very good job against him tonight, though. They're committing a lot of bodies to get after him. Now here's the handoff to Tussler here, and trying to bounce away as Olson and Fryer were there first, and then got a lot of help as Tussler tried to bounce away from him. Pick up about 3.
And to me, what it looks like, I mean, it's not this simple, but it always looks like to me is this Maple Grove defense is using its speed to simply vacate the middle, go around the outside, and then tackle Tussler from the side.
Tussler takes the handoff here, picking his way through. Short of the first down, but not by a whole lot. He'll pick up about 4 more.
Osseo's offensive line got an absolute dominating double team up front there, moving Theo Fryer off the line of scrimmage.
3rd and 2 here. We got 45 seconds to go and counting. Again, they're out of timeouts, as is the defense. Up the middle they go on the handoff here. Tussler, and he will have the first down. Out to the 32. They'll stop the clock to move the chains, but then we'll wind them again immediately here. So they're really facing an uphill battle time-wise now.
Yeah, now that this is probably the play where they maybe open up the playbook a little bit.
Millard dropping to throw, throwing deep down the side and incomplete for Connor Kittleson. So 24 seconds to go and a 2nd down and 10 here.
I can tell you this next week, I'm going to have Gillard and Kittleson play a lot of catch because they have not looked like they're on the same page on a number of plays here. Kittleson did not see that ball in the air. not looking for it early enough, or Gallard perhaps getting rid of it too early, but either way, not on the same page. Number of plays here so far in this first half.
Here's the second down. Hampton takes the handoff here. Wrapped up by Ayers and crew there for Maple Grove, and Hampton will pick up 6. Time winding down, though, under 10 to go. They'll come back to Hampton here and knock down short of the first down, and that looks like it'll do it for the first half of play. So a real entertaining first half. We've had a defensive touchdown for each team. Maple Grove had the momentum early, and Osseo had it for a little while, and then the Crimson get the last touchdown of the half after converting a 4th down, and then Wallach making a long run to put them back in front with under 2 minutes to go in this first half. So a lot of points, a lot of action. Still a lot to be determined here in this one here with this 7-point Crimson lead here at 20-13. So a lot of solid activity on all phases of the game here. Let's go down to Johnny's with Coach Lombardi.
All right, thanks, Jay. Coach, how big was that late touchdown from Jack Wallach?
I think it was good for us because kind of disappointed, actually, for about 12 minutes how we played. We came out well, and then I thought we did dumb things. On 3rd and 11, we're up on safety. We're just offensively, we forced things in the flat. So I'm happy we're ahead, but I'm not happy with how we played.
You contained Bridge Tussler pretty well in the first half on offense. What's been the key to slowing him down?
He's a great player, and he's one of those you got to just pursue. I've been proud of the pursuit of our defense. That's been really, really good. But when you're up by 13 and you have the ball, you got to be able to put people away, and we've allowed them in. So now it's a 48-minute game against Osseo. It's fun. The crowd's loving it. That part you can't beat. As a coach, you get frustrated at the little stuff. But I'm proud of them. They're playing hard, and the kids are having fun.
Good luck in the second half.
Hey, thanks, John.
Our score, Maple Grove 20, Osseo 13. We're at halftime. Live tonight on Channel 12. We'll come back with our halftime report. You're watching Northwest Suburban Conference football on 12 Sports.
No matter where you live, life in the oceans depends on you. Do your part to keep them clean. Recycle and dispose of trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Welcome back to Maple Grove High School. The Crimson Dance team about to perform here, and we have a good football game so far. 20-13, Maple Grove leading Osseo here. John Jacobson along with Joe Moline. And Joe, something new in Minnesota high school football here in 2012, the addition of a 7th class. It's called the so-called super class, Class 6A. Both Osseo and Maple Grove will be part of this, and 32 teams that are in the 4 sections. And let's look at the sections 5 and section 6, which include a lot of local teams. Section 5 includes Blaine Brainerd, which is the only outstate school in the Class 6A, Centennial, Champlin Park, Coon Rapids, Maple Grove, and Osseo. And then in section 6, it's Eden Prairie, Edina, Hopkins, Minnetonka, Armstrong, Shakopee, Wayzata, and Minneapolis South. So first of all, your thoughts on a sixth class for or seventh class tournament.
Well, I think it's an interesting way to kind of make things more fair. It might not impact actually the teams that are in the super class though, because those are the same teams that have kind of competed for championships year in and year out. The Eden Prairie, the Minnetonka, Maple Grove and Osseo would love to be in those elite teams, but Wayzata, those teams have always kind of been in the top of 5A. Now they're just in the top of 6A. Where I think it makes a big difference is in the 5A areas where a team like Bemidji or some of those schools from Rochester or even maybe a Chaska who had to play in that 5A, now they're still in 5A, but some of those higher up teams, bigger enrollments are now gone. That might open up some room for them to make it farther on in the playoffs.
Class 6A is divided again 4 sections of 8 teams. They'll play on the Friday after the regular season starts, so that's a change for those teams. All the other teams in the lower classes will continue to play that Tuesday following the last Wednesday regular season game. So they get an extra 3 days of rest, all the teams. And I think a lot of coaches like that. Nobody gets a bye. Everybody plays that Friday, and you get a couple extra days to prepare for that quarterfinal.
Yeah, that's what coaches are most exciting for, because that time, you never need more time to heal and to practice and get ready for your opponents than you do in the playoffs. And really, with the schedule the way it's been, you don't get that time. So now the elite teams, or at least the elite enrollments, get that time. Players can heal, coaches can design game plans for their next opponent, and that's something the coaches are really looking forward to.
And here's how one thing that works differently compared to years past and all the other classes, how they will play. The top winners, the 4 winners in each of those 4 sections, then will cross for the second round. So say it's Osseo and Maple Grove, they'll cross with perhaps a Hopkins or an Edina or a Wayzata or Eden Prairie, potentially. Section 5 will play Section 6, Section 3 will play Section 4. So you get a chance for some good teams, primarily in this case of the teams that were in the final last year, perhaps could benefit a Wayzata and Eden Prairie, where they could both make the state quarterfinals, which if they stayed in their one section, only one could emerge.
Yeah, where it really could impact Wayzata and Eden Prairie, but how about the third team, maybe a Hopkins or a Minnetonka, who now can creep up a little bit, maybe get into those top 8 teams at the end of the year, and then the seeding takes place. So once you get in the top 8 in those quarterfinals, the coaches reseed. A team like Minnetonka could get in that top 8, never having to face Eden Prairie or Wayzata, despite having to face them all season long in their conference, and then get a chance to maybe end up at the Metrodome in that Final 4 with a chance to play in Eden Prairie or Wayzata, where they had to play them 2-3 weeks earlier in the past.
And then all the state quarterfinals for Class 6A will be held at the Metrodome, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I think some very good football in Class 6A.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great football, as it usually is. And the fun thing about it right here tonight is you're seeing 2 teams that are on the verge of taking that step. They want to be competitive with Wayzata, with Eden Prairie, the Crean-Durham Hall teams. Mounds View wants to step up this year as well. It's really opening up. I feel like that super class this year is much more open than maybe it is in the years past.
Maple Grove leads this one 20-13 over Osseo. We'll take a break and come back. Jay Wilcox will have first half highlights and more. You're watching Osseo Maple Grove football live on Channel 12.
This stage is nowhere near Broadway, and none of these actors will be accepting an Oscar anytime soon. Still, they are rehearsing for something important. While they learn their lines, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, that everyone has a part to play. Skills that will make them stars long after the curtain falls. The National Federation of State High School Associations reminds you that when kids take part in high school activities, they get set for life.
Channel 12's Community Corner puts the spotlight on your corner of the northwest suburbs.
We want to talk about some things happening around the city of Maple Grove.
New Hope's rinks are officially open.
This is the spot for the Golden Valley Rotary Club.
The City Council worked really hard not to have a tax increase.
You can instantly upgrade your wardrobe with a few simple accessories.
We're in Golden Valley today doing a little recycling.
Rediscover your corner of the northwest suburbs every day on Channel 12's Community Corner.
Think you found every hazard out here today? Think again. The spot you missed could be a killer. That spot on your skin could be skin cancer. If you're a man over 50, you're in a group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the kind that kills 1 person every hour. That's why your best shot is to check for a spot. It's easy. follow through and check your skin. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out how. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
The recession took a toll on jobs, but some manufacturers in Brooklyn Park say they can't find enough qualified workers.
One of the largest World War I memorials in the country gets a fresh new look in Robbinsdale.
The Maple Grove hockey team scored a big win over Benilde St. Margaret's. It's the second time the Crimson...
After 34 years in the same route, a Plymouth mail carrier says goodbye.
Discover your neighborhood news.
And stories you can only see here.
Discover 12 News.
Where you live. Life in the oceans depends on you. Do your part to keep them clean. Recycle and dispose of trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life. Somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
What are you doing, dear?
My finances. Every week I divide my allowance. Some to spend, some to charity. But the first thing I do is set aside 10% to save for my future.
That's awfully grown up. Did you learn that in school?
No, Dad taught me. He said if you want something tomorrow, you have to save today. Dad's saving for retirement. I'm saving for a new bike.
Choose to save. To learn how to get started, get your free Power to Choose brochure.
He's a smart man, your father.
20-13, Maple Grove leading Osseo at halftime of this one here on a festive night at Maple Grove. We'll take a look at some first half highlights, and there were big plays galore in this one. Starting out with a defensive play that got Maple Grove started in the right direction in this one, certainly. Garrison Glard's pass picked off. Bryson White goes 55 yards on the interception return for the touchdown about midway through the first quarter. We make it a 7-0 lead, and then it is Skya rolling out. He throws a White, a close call here. Defensive player Tussler ends up with the ball eventually, but they rule it already a touchdown for White on a 35-yard pass. They missed the conversion there, 13-0. Garrison Glard hit as he throws, but gets it enough on it to Harrison Lucas, the tight end deep downfield here for Osseo, and then Cray finishing off the drive, fighting through a tackle around his head there to fight in for the touchdown. Osseo's on the board. Then big defensive play. Cray lowering the boom. They recover the fumble. Then Skya's pass picked off by Gamache, and he takes it in for the score. So each team getting an interception return for a touchdown. Osseo had all the momentum at this point, but then Maple Grove, see the pass tipped up in the air. There's the interception by Tussler, but then Maple Grove coming back. They converted on a fourth down. Then it is Wallach taking the pitch, and he gets to the outside, and nobody home for Osseo. He goes 39 yards. That came a minute 41 before halftime and put Maple Grove in the lead at the half. If you look at our first half stats, Maple Grove with the advantage offensively, and you see turnovers has been a bit of a problem, and also penalties have hurt the Crimson. So we get set for our second half of play. We will return with more football here from Maple Grove High School in just a moment. Crimson 20, Orioles 13 here on 12 Sports.
So many kids' activities today seem to leave out the activity part.
New research tells us that just getting children to walk an extra 35 minutes a day could spare them the pain of thinning bones later in life. Encourage your kids to get up, get out, and get moving.
Hello. Hey, Grandma, how about another grape soda?
A public service message on building strong bones for kids from the Pediatric Orthopedic Society of North America and the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
Maple Grove leading Osseo by 7. Let's go down to John Jacobson with Coach Lampker.
Thanks, Jay. And Coach, you get 3 turnovers there in the second quarter, only 1 touchdown. Do you feel you left some points out there on the board?
Yeah, that's bad. You got to get in the end zone when their defense puts you in spots like that. Hats off to our defense. They did a great job. They scored a touchdown. We gave them 1 for them. You know, we're young on offense, and we're trying to figure stuff out right now. Maple Grove's doing a good job of taking the run away. And if you're going to have to throw the ball in the second half to beat these guys, bottom line, we've got to make some catches. We dropped the ball, and just got to make some plays here in the second half.
Coach, good luck second half.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Darren Lampker and the Osseo Orioles trailing by a touchdown. They were down early, 13-0, now 20-13 as we get set for the start of the third quarter. Jay and Joe, back up to you.
Thanks, John, and also thanks to Coach Lampker and Coach Lombardi for taking the time to visit with us. It always helps things out, and we get a little bit of their insights as well. And you talked about, you know, both those guys. Another thing we like, obviously, very honest with us. You're not going to get just the cliched answer. They're going to tell you what they think, and that's certainly something that I think the fans like to hear, and as well as us.
Well, the good thing about both of them, what they're trying to do is bring not only their football teams up through the ranks, but also, you know, they know by giving us the insight they do, they bring the fans into it a lot too. The fans get to know the coaches and the players through 12 sports, and so it is a good opportunity to talk to the coaches and get some insight on those teams. Interesting thing to come out here in the second half, I think, Jay, is Centennial, you know, was down on Osseo 25-7 in the first half. After one half last week, Maple Grove was well up over Robbinsdale Armstrong 41-7. And I always look at early on in the season when you get in that tight game, that first time, how does your players react? And it's a whole different ball game. You know, those second halves when you're blowing a team out, it's easy to stay up and be riding the wave of success with your team, but it's hard when you're facing a challenge like Osseo's facing, and as well as Maple Grove only being up a touchdown. In these type football games, you learn a lot about the character of your team.
Really, I think a mixed bag. That was really reflected in what the coaches said too, and that you know, there were certainly times when they were very happy with the way things went, but then a few, you know, kind of big or head-scratching mistakes a little bit hurt them too. And as always, you have to kind of recognize that some of those are the opponent making a good play on you too.
Yeah, I mean the 2 defensive touchdowns, you might, you know, say, hey, we can't let the defensive score on us. That's a mistake, but both of them were pretty outstanding defensive plays individually by those players. So you really have to give your hats off to them. And I think you kind of heard that from both coaches. Pretty pleased with the way their defense has responded throughout this game, but know that both offenses are going to have to make some big plays for the final 2 quarters for them to come out on top.
So Osseo will get the football first here to start the second half. Woida, however, will be kicking with the wind at his back. And last time he got a touchback. Cray and Tussler waiting back there. They're trying to play some games back there and get Maple Grove guessing on who's going to be where. It's going to be Cray taking this one on the 4-yard line as he comes right up the gut. Cray has a little room, makes a move. There's a flag down as he's brought down about the 43. More than likely, though, this one will be coming back. Certainly would appear to be a penalty on the return team, Osseo, as the flag flew before there was anybody really up making a tackle or anything. So the odds certainly are that it's against the Orioles.
It's always interesting in these type of games when you focus in on Tussler, you think Tussler's going to have a big impact, and he still probably will here tonight. He's had an impact. He's got an interception, made some big plays. We'll take a look at that return once again, but it's been Cray, 17 for Osseo with this return here. Number of nice returns here tonight. Offensive touchdown, a lot of defensive tackles.
Yeah, block in the back was called, and I could see it in the middle of that pile. Looked like a pretty good call. So Orioles will be pushed back to their 15-yard line.
Field position, I think, has favored Osseo throughout this game due to their good defense, giving the offense the possession in Maple Grove territory. This is the first time they've really been backed up.
Tussler takes the handoff. They try and drive it forward. A gain of 2, maybe 3, as they try to just go power. And Tussler unofficially held to 14 yards in the first half. That's pretty good if you're Maple Grove.
Wow, we haven't even seen Tussler break free just a bit, you know, in the open field where he can be really dangerous. Maple Grove has really contained him.
Second down, flag down. Ooh, Gillard took a pretty good hit there. Not malicious. The play was just being whistled. And this one will be against the Orioles, push them back 5. So they've had 2 early penalties here to start the second half. They're nearly matching Maple Grove in terms of shooting themselves in the foot with penalties. Going with a more power look, very tight formation. Gillard, though, dropping to throw, and he's going to be dumped. Peter Olson catches up to him, drags him down. Gillard nearly got back to the line of scrimmage, but not quite, so it will be a sack.
Olson has been doing a good job all night long, getting out along the outside, using his speed. And he's really been in the backfield quite a bit here tonight. Quarterback Gillard did a good job there. After breaking that tackle initially, he kept his eyes downfield looking for receivers, just wasn't able to break free quite enough to get a throw off.
3rd and long coming up here for the Orioles. They will go with the toss back to Tussler. Tussler getting to the outside, and he has some room down the sideline. Tussler cutting back across the middle and dragged down into Maple Grove territory. About a 42-yard gain here for Tussler, just after we'd said he hadn't been able to really pop one.
They finally get that edge. Good blocking along the outside, good block by the receiver downfield. Woida took a nice angle to force him back into the inside. The pursuit coming back.
And here's Tussler again. Sorry, Joe Bridge not getting much of a rest as he gets the handoff right back and rips off about 9 more, maybe 10 on that play.
It's okay. I think that's what happens when it's a long play and we watch the replay, and then Osseo with the quick gun offense. Osseo wants to keep this momentum rolling.
Just when we were thinking that they hadn't really been able to do much, it looked like they were going to be probably forced into a punt situation. They come with the toss on 3rd and long, and Tussler breaks it and then gets another nice gainer right after that. Here's Gillard looking to get that first down, and he'll get it down to about the 33 or so. Is nice pickup for Garrison Gillard.
You'll see on this play right here, you got Tussler off to the left, hands on his hips. He needs a break, so this is Gillard's going to call his own number and does a good job getting off tackle, getting upfield, getting another first down for Osseo. And you see Gillard's ability to take a hit and kind of push forward a little bit. Nice asset to have from your quarterback.
Yeah, I think part of the reason they huddled on that last play was because Tussler was tired. Darren Lampker, as I said earlier, so honest, he's telling me during the week that Tussler sometimes when he gets tired, he said, you're a valuable decoy. We'll leave you out there even if you're not really going to do anything. First down, Gillard fakes the toss, now stepping up and running it, and he's got some space. And shoved out of bounds here by Maple Grove's Matt Andres. They'll spot him on the 25-yard line, give him about 8.
Watch Gillard here. He sees Eric 20. You're going to see 20 from Maple Grove come to the inside on the pressure. Once he saw that left the outside open. Gillard took off as soon as he saw 20 bite inside. Picked up another nice positive chunk of yards off the ground. Gillard maybe not getting it done through the air in the first half, but in this 3rd quarter, he's getting it done with his feet.
Osseo looking to try and battle back and maybe tie this one up. They're down 7, 20-13. Gillard, little toss out, gets it to Tussler. Struggles forward, and Bridge Tussler will have himself the first down, it looks like, here for the Orioles.
The last 2 times Osseo's moved the chains now, they've gotten great yardage pickup on first down. It just makes life so much easier. Second down and short, you can just swing it out to Tussler in the flats and let him do his thing. Even if he gets tackled, you still have third down and short upcoming.
Handoff goes to Tussler, and well played defensively. Maple Grove ball came loose, but at the end, let's see. I think it was down. Yes, it was. Official pointing down, saying that thing was already down.
A lot of times when people watch games, Tussler's going to check out after this run. Let's take a look at it. Great pull and double team on the outside there for Osseo. Good push, even though they only picked up a yard or two. But when the momentum gets picked up, a lot of times we focus on the running back. Oh, he's really picking up momentum. But much of that momentum has to do with the way the offensive line is gelling and getting off the ball as a unit.
And off to Hampton. Slamming forward here inside the 20-yard line. Pickup of about 3 there for Hampton.
A.J. Dent got a good block down the right side, knocking down his opponent across the line of scrimmage. That opened up a pretty good hole immediately. Second level for the Crimson was up to the task, so there wasn't too much running room after that initial surge.
Quick little pitch out here. Hampton getting to the edge and strung out pretty effectively. Let's see where they'll mark him. About the 16, maybe 17-yard line. Couple yard pickup there, and fourth down coming for the Orioles here. They will certainly go for it, of course, here. 4th and 4. Down by a touchdown at 20-13. Tussler in the slot to the right side. And Osseo getting an early start here, and
that's the interesting scenario right there, because it was a linebacker who kind of made his movement towards the line of scrimmage, forcing Osseo to false start. It's not called in the defense. Had it been a defensive lineman with some encroachment across the line of scrimmage, it would have been a different story. It would have been a penalty on Maple Grove, but it was the linebacker stepping up there, coming on a blitz, that forced Osseo to false start, and a big penalty it is.
4th and 9 now for Osseo. Gillard looking to throw to Tussler, and the catch is made. It's Lucas will grab it at the 5-yard line. Wow, he bounced off the defender. Harris and Lucas, pretty good size. Both teams have pretty good size tight end. He's 6'1", 205, and Lucas makes his second grab of the night.
Lucas makes the catch. Purdue went for kind of the high hit.
They go with it quickly from the 6. There's Hampton burrowing down. Pickup of about 3 on the play.
Remember, it was Cray who put the ball in the end zone on a previous possession. They're going to stick with Hampton as the tailback.
Right up the middle, and Hampton gets in for the touchdown, and Osseo's to within a point. Nice drive. It looked like you go back a ways and it was 3rd and long, and they got that long run by Tussler, and then they were kind of on their way, and they go in for the touchdown.
Excellent drive from the Orioles. You remember too, after that kick return, how far back they got put in their own end zone nearly. What a nice drive for the Orioles. See if they can tie it up with the extra point.
Berg on for the kick, and it is up. It looks good, and it is. 6:07 to play here in quarter number 3, and we are evened up at 20 apiece.
Well, the distance that the Orioles traveled, the time that they took up, and it finishing with 7 points, it all has to feel great for Osseo, but the way in which they did it is behind this offensive line, finally coming together. Best time so far on a unit. You see Dean, 76, getting a monstrous block out there. Good pull from the left guard as well. Coming around for Osseo, Tyler Sims getting a big block as well for the Orioles. Nice surge from the offensive line in the interior. That's how you finish off a drive. I think also, on top of that, sorry about that, Jay, is just finishing one last thought. I think it was key, too, that some of it came on the shoulders of Hampton. I don't think they used him as much as they wanted to in that first half. I don't think he was running the football the way they liked earlier in the year. They had to use Cray on an earlier end zone situation. Tussler needed a break, and I'll tell you what, Hampton did a good job stepping up and finishing off that drive.
Berg will kick it away here for the Orioles as they have kind of wrested the momentum back from Maple Grove with that strong drive. Kick heading toward Yasowski. He's going to try and play it on a bounce. Nice hands to scoop it up at the 9. And met and spun down hard there. So, and a little shaken up there, one of the Crimson players, Matt Cry.
It's a really good job by the Osseo kickoff team by kicking that ball on a spot and getting downfield and covering that kick to put Maple Grove down inside the 20 with the wind in your face the way that they did. That's a pretty good job done by Osseo, and they've really done a good job of winning that field position battle here tonight. Hasn't resulted in more points, 20-20, score on the board, but one area of the game where they've really done a good job.
You know, we talked about that, Bill Hunstock and I, in the Cooper-Benilde game last week, how it's one of the last things you'd ever really talk about is kickoff placement, but it really can become a big factor, especially on a windy night like this. This isn't the NFL where you've got, you know, virtually every kicker can put the ball in or very near the end zone. You're going to see a variety of kickoffs, and I think the teams that are able to execute that, where their kickers in sync with their coverage team and put the ball where they want to, are going to have a big advantage.
Well, the reality is, at the high school level, you don't have kickers who can kick the ball high enough to get your kickoff team down the field to cover. So you have to kick it in the area to give them that opportunity to get down the field. When high school kickers get a lot of distance on their ball, they're usually taking away some of the height. And therefore, if it's returned, your kickoff team does not have the coverage downfield in time.
2nd down and 6 after that 4-yard gain. Skaya and company trying to get some momentum back going. The fullback Coyne coming in motion. They toss it out to Wojda. Complete to him, and Tussler shoves him out of bounds. Not a huge gainer there, but got the completion and picked up about 3 on that play. So 3rd down coming up here, and 3 for Maple Grove. Back to Wallach, and he is tripped up and cut down. Getting to him there for the Orioles is Gamache.
Looks like he's getting a pretty favorable spot.
He will get the 1st down. I wasn't too sure that he had enough, but had the momentum going forward with him there as he's cut down.
So Maple Grove takes 3 wide receivers, splits them out to the left. That forces Osseo obviously to cover those receivers, really spreads out that defense. And the direct snap, of course, saves you a little bit of timing. Get that ball right in the hands of your running back. He simply sprints to the right, away from much of that Osseo defense. Good call by the Crimson to convert on a big 3rd down.
Well, Osseo, by converting on a 3rd down when they looked like they could be forced into an early punt, ended up scoring. Maple Grove hoping that they could get some similar momentum going their way.
Delay of game is going to be the call. It's always tough in high school football when a delay of game is called, because you just don't have that clock to keep you on track. And after a 1st down, you know, the chains get set, and it didn't seem like Maple Grove took any more time on that one than any previous play tonight.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, sometimes just come out of nowhere. Delay game. Big penalty, though. Those are the things that have really stalled the Crimson drives here earlier in the game. They've recovered a little bit, but this one could hurt.
Skaya tosses it back to Wallach. Yeah, and he is hit and knocked backward. Wallace and company up there early. Cameron Kelly helping out as well for the Orioles. That one didn't have much chance.
Wallace got the backside penetration, and on the front side was, as you said, Cameron Kelly. He completely crashed his block, kept that thing to the inside, and then worked his way back into the football. So he had some backside pursuit with some good front side fighting through the blocks, and that results in really no gain for the Crimson and even a loss.
Second and about 17 now for Maple Grove. Skaya sprinting out to the right, throwing on the run, and incomplete. Tussler got tangled up with the receiver there, Wida, and just going to rule incomplete and incidental contact as their feet got tangled. I don't know that Wida was really going to have much chance to get to that ball anyway, but he is, of course, feeling that he was interfered with.
And these are the situations where we haven't talked about it much, is where Maple Grove is really missing their second big receiver, Winneke. Because Winneke's the big playmaker downfield. Nice, tall receiver. You know, White is going to get good possession catches, but he has Tussler all over him now. If Winneke had been in the ball game tonight, Osseo would be spread more thin, trying to figure out how to cover both those dynamic receivers.
Looking again, and that one again, Gamache looked like he might have got a piece of that ball too, so that would have even made it an interference call even less likely. Here's a pass completion to Wida. Goes up to get it. Gamache able to drag him down. Still obviously way short of the first down, however, as he'll get about 9.
Sky looks really good, rolling to his right and throwing the football downfield. Unfortunately, when you're in a 3rd down and 17, it's just not, there's not enough plays in the playbook, and Osseo defensively can really guard against that first down marker.
Field on to punt. And just gets it away, and it's a beauty. Tussler calls for and makes a fair catch at the 30-yard line. So a 40-yard kick and no return with the wind at his back. Interesting, and you see that Field does that little kind of rugby, couple steps and boots it away, and that time they got pretty good pressure on him. I think Tussler would like to have that one to do again. He had some room to run.
That's the one that he's going to think about tonight when he goes home, regardless of how it turns out. He's been wanting breathing room all night long. He was finally going to get it. Boy, when he catches this one on 12 Sports, he's going to see that would have been a fun return to have. Coverage was not down there.
I think the fact that it was a little bit deeper than he was expecting made him feel like maybe it's a ball he had to fair catch. But either way, still pretty good field position at the 30-yard line for Osseo. They've tied it up moments ago. Hampton takes the handoff. And a solid gainer there for Osseo on first down. Field making the tackle there for Maple Grove. About a 5-yard pickup. Gallard going with the toss. Hampton trying to get wide. Makes a nice cut, but then a nice tackle. Able to drag him down really with one arm, it looked like, was Ben Dahl-McGlone there, the corner.
You see a little penetration in the backfield here too, and I thought maybe even a block in the back. You'll see on the far right of your screen, Tussler comes in and gets a little chunk of the backside of Purdue. It goes uncalled. It could have been a big call though had the referee made the call.
Hampton takes the handoff. He's going to be short of the first down. Well defended again by Maple Grove. As Field able to come up and get a strong piece of him. Coach Lombardi referred to Field as perhaps our best overall player when talking with him in the pregame.
Well, he's really got a lot of varsity playing experience. He's been playing a lot of football for Maple Grove, and these are those 4th down and short situations.
And it's Gallard going to punt it. And bounces back toward the line. Tussler downing it there. You get about a 22-yard punt. And the biggest thing there is they didn't really get the roll they would have liked. They, all things considered, you know, got away a decent punt, but just didn't get the bounce their way. So Maple Grove gets the ball back at the 40-yard line here. 2:01 to play 3rd quarter, and evened up at 20 apiece.
I was about to say before that play had started, these are those 4th down situations that Coach Lamker likes to be creative with. He does not like simply just lining up and punting the football. He wants to give defenses tonight and down the line, all the teams watching their game tape, things to think about, because you'll see similarly, they'll line up just like that in a future play, and they will run the football rather than punt it.
Sky Under pressure, throwing deep downfield. Whiteout is open. He has to come back for it, and he will get it for the catch. That would have been a touchdown if he'd been able to get it out there a little deeper. But as it is, it's a nice gainer for the Crimson. About 24 on the pickup. But boy, was Whiteout wide open.
See the pressure from Rakeem Felder here in the backfield. 44 for Osseo, gets back there really early. That forces Skya to hurry that pass a little bit. Doesn't get up as much on it as he would have liked, but again, Whiteout, excellent athlete, finds his way back to that football, secures the catch.
On the 36 now of Osseo, Maple Grove trying to put a drive together here. Handoff to Wallach. Oh, and he is dragged down by Cray with one arm.
And Lombardi wants a horse collar, and I'm not so sure he's not wrong. I don't think he wanted a face mask. I think he wants a horse collar. As you see, Cray comes around the outside, tackles him kind of from the back. So it looks like
just the back of the jersey, it looked like to me there, huh?
It was jersey. You could tell from the replay he had grabbed jersey, but I think live, the coaching staff from Maple Grove definitely thought he had grabbed the shoulder pads and pulled him backwards.
Well, I was going to say, if he had gotten that one, it would have been a victim of being a little too strong. He made, the way he yanked him down, it almost, the whole crowd kind of oohed and awed, but definitely appeared to be clean on that one. And we have a flag flying here, and we had two players moving there, it looked like, for Maple Grove.
Yeah, you had the tight end in motion, but the left tackle, Trey Nahowick, had a hard time staying put. Got a little false start on the left side there. And that's the kind of stuff, I mean, I feel like a broken record, but Maple Grove has had a hard time recovering from those types of penalties tonight.
Skya, deep drop, he's in trouble, and down he goes for a huge loss. Gamache getting back. Skya that time giving up a lot of yardage. 14-yard loss.
Now, moving to your left is supposed to be able to give the quarterback a little bit more time to throw the football and maybe set up easier protection with a little bit of wall protection. That wall was simply busted through by the Oriole defense. Great pursuit. Skya wanted to throw it away and didn't even have the time to do that.
Time winding down. We'll see if they get this one off, and they do. They want to set up a screen. Skya completing it to Wallach. Cannot break free, though. A good, strong grasp on him there by Mac Pierce there on the tackle. And they'll get 7 out of it. We've reached the end of quarter number 3, and it's a great one here at Maple Grove. Our score, Osseo 20, Maple Grove 20, the fourth quarter coming up on 12 Sports.
One day these rats were playing in the woods. Well, it's a matches and that's no good. Listen to smoke before you give it a try. Only you. Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about rigged out life. Nothing very nice. So if a gorgeous force is what you desire, don't play with matches, don't play with fire. Yeah.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Fire!
An 18-year-old has been charged with a shooting that critically injured another person.
Last week, one of the vehicles disappeared from this lot in plain sight. Ultimate goal is to develop an app that gives the visually impaired turn-by-turn directions.
Event organizers say many of the fences here were about 20 years old and were in need of replacing.
Gets this one well out to left field, and that one's going to be in for a hit. It bounces to the fence, a run scores. And welcome back to Maple Grove. Crimson getting set to punt as Field coming on. They're right near midfield, but 4th down and very long after that sack. Tussler waiting back deep. Field, low liner, and Tussler running after. He's going to come get it at the 18 and tight ropes up the sideline. And I think a lot of people probably figured that one was just going to go out of bounds. Tussler saved him about 10, 11 yards anyway on that play.
Yeah, and that's actually a really big play by Tussler to come up and get that football. I don't like when I see return men let that go. Even if you're going to fall on top of it, I'm fine with that. But as you see what he does, he picks it up, gets about 10 extra yards, steps out of bounds, all while securing the football, giving his team better field position.
So Orioles have put together a good drive last time. They are on their 39 here. Give it to Tussler. And stacked up, just nowhere to run right there. He will get about 2 on the play.
Osseo wants to dial up another drive like the one that tied this football game up. Eat a lot of clock, keep control of that football, and stay out of third down and long situations.
Gillard will keep it here and has some room. Gillard will have the first down. Spun out of bounds there by Jake Engelken for Maple Grove, but not until Gillard picks up about 10 and a first down.
And they found a nice weapon in Gillard here this evening. Been able to really buy some time with some pitch fakes. That one's just a straight handoff fake. Gets along the outside, good runner, and tends to fall forward.
Pitch out to Tussler. Tussler following a wall of blockers there, and he'll get a decent gainer out about 6 or 7 on that play.
But Jay, it appears to me that, you know, a little bit as this game's gone on, I thought Maple Grove was kind of running around a little bit. A lot of speed was giving that Osseo offensive line trouble. It looks like the offensive line might be wearing down the undersized Maple Grove defense right now, or at least that's what it looks like in the last couple of possessions.
Second down and 3 now for the Orioles, and they've gone to a lot of fullback, a lot of eye sets too. Here's Tussler. This time is going nowhere. Eric getting there from the outside. He just had a free rein to come up and make a tackle, and he did it.
And that's key. Backside linebackers are key. If you can get a good read and know that the reverse isn't coming your way, you can chase down that ball and make a big play at the line of scrimmage, because someone's unaccounted for in that run blocking scheme, and that time it was Eric, and he made the play.
So third down for the Orioles. Gillard's going to tuck in and go around the edge, and looks like he'll have the first down as he collides there with the defensive player Engelken, but he will pick up the first down into Crimson territory. Got about 7 on that play, so the threat of the run up the middle is there, and then Gillard getting to the edge.
Well, when your quarterback is running the football, you have one extra blocker, because usually in a typical offense, you hand the ball off, your quarterback's free, not usually blocking, not doing anything. But if he's the runner, those running backs are able to at least carry out a fake, take on a linebacker, and pick up a block.
From the Crimson 45 now, Gillard dropping to throw. Rush coming, and he'll tuck it and pick up a couple yards on the play, dragged down by Emmanuel Eric there. Well, they've got Coach Lampert told us we might expect this. We got 18 carries for Tussler, 13 for Hampton, and now 11 for Gillard. So, as good as Tussler is, they know that they're going to have to use him as a decoy on some plays and as a blocker. He's a tremendous blocker as well.
And I think Gillard, might not be as accurate as they would like passing the football, but his decision-making when to tuck the football has been pretty good tonight.
And we're going to have a timeout taken, I believe, here. Osseo will use a timeout. 2nd down and 8 play coming up. Momentum is kind of going back and forth in this one. We're really a little bit more with Osseo right now. And look across the way at the Oriole mascot there. And as you would expect to see, a very nice crowd. It's always kind of strange on that first night of the season. You don't know what to expect because school hasn't started yet. It's Labor Day weekend and everything, and now you kind of settle in here for week number 2.
Yep, absolutely. The parents, the kids, they had that first week of school back, and everyone gets back into the mix of what you do in a fall, and that's pretty much you set into that family routine. And one of the great parts of the routine is heading out to the game on a Friday night after a long week.
It hasn't really gotten a lot of attention, but you talked at halftime, you and John talked about 6A and the new class, but one thing a little different regular season-wise, Northwest Suburban Conference this year going to 2 divisions. So Osseo and Maple Grove are actually not in the same division. It doesn't really change the fact that they're great rivals and everything, but they're not competing for the same division title really in this season. Maple Grove's in the larger school division and Osseo falling slightly into the smaller school division where a lot of people feel they have a decent chance to at least compete for the title. Here's Tussler, runs over one of his own guys and then is knocked down Tussler won that first battle. The only problem was it was with one of his linemen.
Yeah, and then the insertion of Totino Grace into the conference too. I mean, it makes the conference even stronger than it already was. You saw Tussler, nice shoulder shrug, and not a lot of room to run there. The Crimson defense responding well, and this is where the Crimson defense has been in a much better position. When they can force Osseo into that third down and long, it's advantage to the defense, and Osseo will need to respond.
3rd down and 8 here for the Orioles. Their most effective thing has been to run the football. They're going to throw for it here. Pass complete. Gets it to Medke, but way short of any first down possibility there, as he only got about 3 on that completion, and it'll bring up a 4th down, and they'll be going for it again here on 4th down and 5.
I think the way Lamker wanted to deal with that situation was, you know, throw it short. You might be able to get that first down off a broken tackle, but they knew they were going to go for it on 4th. Why not give yourself a better chance by at least picking up an easy couple of yards?
Gallard takes the snap, fakes it to Tussler. Now thrown over the middle, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Eric. Eric knocked down by Tussler. And a big interception there by Emmanuel Eric for Maple Grove.
This play was pretty well covered. I think Gallard knew where he wanted to go with the football right away. And I don't know, there was a lot of Crimson players right in that area, and Gallard was going to try to throw it right through him no matter what. I think he just kind of zoned in on what he did. The tight end was open earlier in the first half. I think maybe that's why that play was called. Maple Grove obviously responded well because the tight end was not open on that play.
No, I don't think even if Eric hadn't caught it, another guy might have had it. They're going to toss it out to Woida out in the flat. Woida trying to get away. Flag down. Cray spins him to the turf. And we'll see what this, more than likely going to be an offensive penalty, I would guess. That flag came in very early in the sequence.
I mean this as a total compliment, but Cray plays football like a maniac out there. I mean, it is great. I mean, I love it. He almost was in that passing lane. Had he maybe anticipated that was the play, he would have had a pick 6. Take it out, take a look. 17 is in the passing lane. The ball goes almost right over his head. And then look at the reaction. Woida, who's very shaky and shifty, cannot get away from him. And Craig just out-muscles him and takes him down.
Holding play there. And, you know, we might look, that pass was really a lateral, and looking at it again. And don't be too shocked if at some point, if not tonight, at least this season, that you see Woida throw the ball out of that sequence. You throw it out into the flat. It certainly appeared to be a backward pass there, lateral, and now Wallach taking the direct snap here. And that'll go nowhere. Wallace and Cray both there, and Wallace is fired up as they bring him down in a hurry. And gonna lose about a yard on the play.
Alex Peterson, Troy Williams, another one on the inside there that is simply not moved by the Maple Grove offense. They couldn't get the nose guard off the ball. No movement at all. Osseo defense pretty tough up the middle, proving it again on that play.
Skaya dropping out to Woida, bounces off the first hit, but just a lot of white jerseys there. He'll only get a couple on the play.
Well, we may see the play that you just referred to as we see an Osseo player down and injured, where Woida's going to throw the football. But I also think what should be coming too is a pump fake off this play right here. A little pump fake to Woida, and then find a receiver streaking down the middle or the other side. That would be a good play to call right now too. You see the injury at the very end getting rolled up on from the backside. It was Quentin Perkins. Let's hope Perkins is okay, but it's never good when you see someone roll up the back of someone's knee.
Yeah, you watch 16 right there, and the guys coming. Ooh, they fall onto the side of the leg. That's a fairly high percentage of injuries to the lower legs are on plays like that, and it's nobody's fault really. It just, you're kind of wrong place, wrong time. Looks like, well, I was going to say he's going to be able to get out. He got up looking good, but then not able to put any weight on that left leg. Might have been a hyperextended knee type situation, but
from my own experience too, I know that when you get rolled up on, it's the knee that you get scared about, but sometimes your knees react pretty well, and it's your ankle that's stuck into the ground there. That breaks, and it's a high ankle sprain. That is another really common football injury, those high ankle sprains, which, ankle sprain is much better than a torn ACL or MCL, but those high ankle sprains take quite a while to recover from as well.
3rd and long. Skaya will work out of the shotgun now. Couple receivers each way. Skaya throwing under pressure, and it's picked off. Nice job by Seelock to haul that one in, and again the pressure was just getting to Skaya, and he's picked off for the 3rd time tonight.
You see Skaya, he's just not getting enough protection because he's throwing the ball a little bit earlier, and really it's not a terrible throw, it's just slightly overthrown. His receiver couldn't get up high enough. It's a tough play. Skaya now with all that much height himself to see over the defense and his offensive line. Ball sails on him a little bit. The pressure from Osseo possibly resulting in another turnover.
Gamache getting there to get the hit on him. Here's the handoff to Tussler. Tussler keeps those legs driving. He was dragging a tackler, Ayers, with him. And that's going to be a pickup of 8 for Bridge Tussler. See, pretty good push up front though too to lead him through. Martin Olson there getting a good block in. And then Ayers just hanging on. Second down and a couple here for the Orioles. Back to Tussler. Tussler will have the first down here and this is what they're hoping for late in the game, to kind of start wearing this Maple Grove team down and hope that Tussler is getting stronger, even though he's had to play a lot of football, of course, on offense and defense. Gonna have to measure this one, it looks like.
And Osseo obviously has that size advantage up front along the line of scrimmage, and another thing to think about too with the wind at Osseo's back, if they are to settle for a field goal, it'll be a much easier attempt than if they were head in the opposite direction.
I thought at first that he had certainly got it, but now it doesn't look like it. It'll be just short. Getting late enough in the game here where you start thinking about how many more times with the ball are we going to have here. We just passed the halfway point of the 4th quarter.
Well, Osseo has to treat this possession, I think, like it's possibly their last. So it's almost like you got to put points on the board no matter what, and you really want to make it 6.
In a good spot here, 3rd and less than a yard, and they've shown obviously a willingness to go for it on 4th when needed here too. If you just want to keep positive, don't go backward here, keep things moving forward. They come back to Tussler. He almost got tripped up early by his own guy, but he will pick up the first down, and his foot was clipped by, I believe it was one of the guards, but able to keep his balance.
Yeah, Eric Scrivseth, the nose tackle in there for Maple Grove. His job is to push that center back, make life miserable. That's what he did. He got some good penetration, not really breaking through, but just pushing his defender, or rather his offensive lineman across. Nearly blew up that play.
Now Osseo with a tight power formation here from the 36. Go to Cray. Cray getting to the outside, and there's nobody there. Cray down the sideline is in for the touchdown. Osseo showing all power formation there, and then they go around the edge to Cray, and he takes it the distance. 36 yards.
You said it, Jay, the all-power formation. Everybody's tight, double tights. There's no wide receivers out there, so there's no defensive backs out along the outside to help out. Once that corner was got, it was done. Cray's speed brought him to the end zone, his 2nd score of the night. What a fantastic football game he has had. This is a tape he's going to want to hang on to.
Berg on to attempt the extra point, and this one is blocked. So kicks have not been sure things here tonight, and now the lead will stay at 6.
Jay, we talked about Tussler as a blocker. He actually didn't get a great block there. Simply Maple Grove ran around it. there was just no containment, an absolute blown assignment by whoever's responsibility it was on that outside. I was looking for the big block along the outside. It's really not there. There's one good one there as Wojda gets sealed. And you see chasing it down there is Gunnar Ayers, who just can't catch up to Cray. But just not good defensive schematically for Maple Grove to hold on to that outside. All night long, they've been holding Tussler, containing Tussler. The extra point, not much of a block as much as it's just a ground ball kick.
The snap, and just not much of that one worked well. Gillard had the ball up off the ground, it looked like.
So how crucial could the missed extra points be? Of course, it could be a big impact, but Maple Grove first has to do something offensively here in the second half.
And getting back to that touchdown, Joe, you wonder how much of that is seeing that formation for the very first time at Maple Grove. This is a short squib, and it's a chance for Osseo to get to this one. They might have gotten it. They did. Berg chipping it around the first wall of the return team, and it is recovered for the Orioles by Louis Jusame.
I don't know how Maple Grove was set up to field this, but it's just not. It's not the way watch how Osseo's kicked the ball all night long. It's been directional kicking to a space. The guys who are in that middle tier cannot simply run forward to pick up a block. They have to make sure they get the football first before they head forward to block. Just a mental mistake there done by Maple Grove special teams, and Osseo has a chance to put this game away with the ball in their grasp.
You're right on, Joe, but you also have to give a tremendous credit to the kick and the guy who covered it, because he made a beeline for that ball and got right on it. There's Tussler taking the handoff. We have a flag down on this play.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic kick. In fact, we gave him credit earlier in the night on a great kick that ended up on the other side just for good field position. He's been doing an excellent job kicking all night, and the coverage team for Osseo doing an excellent job too. Nice hustle to get on the field.
Boy, it's not often that a guy running full speed dives on the ball and it never comes loose or anything. He just got it, and then great play on that recovery. Now the Orioles hurting themselves, though, with a holding penalty on this first down play.
And this is gut check time for the Crimson, and I guess for Osseo as well. Can Osseo put a game away? You see the offensive line getting fired up. You saw Dean right now just walking up and down his offensive line, talking to his line mates, getting his squad pumped up about for what they have to do here on first down and 21.
Gillard will keep it. And down he goes, a flag down as well. Wojda on the tackle. The flag coming right out near where the tackle was made, although it was already coming out before the tackle. We're going to have a flag apparently on Osseo. This one might possibly be declined.
Yeah, I thought about that too, but I think with the way the game is, the field position, I think you just keep pushing them back.
Yeah, it's going to be another hold. Yeah, you're right. If it was a 5-yarder, maybe, but I think with the hold, you're going to have to take it. Normally, you kind of throw the flag roughly where the infraction was, so I'm not sure where exactly it occurred. But boy, Osseo, after that recovery, you know they just wanted to run the ball, use clock, march down the field, and now instead they're going backward because of these penalties. They give it to Bridge Tussler. Tussler takes a hit and keeps on driving. He stayed in bounds as he was held up there by Purdue.
You know where Tussler's really going to benefit down the line if Osseo can't accomplish it. It's going to be, they have to develop a 1-2 combination with one of their wide receivers too, because sometimes you have to have Tussler in the backfield and be able to throw the ball out wide and make something happen too, to take the focus off Tussler. Right now, Maple Grove's defense sees 34 in the backfield. They can pretty much key in on Tussler. Of course, Gillard's been able to run the football a little bit too, but other than those two players right now, that's what Maple Grove's been able to key in on.
2nd and 21 now here for the Orioles. Hampton takes the handoff on the counter. Nice stop made there as Eric tripped him up. He's been in on a lot of plays tonight including, of course, that interception not too long ago. Only about a 2-yard gain here for Osseo on what looked like it had some possibilities. Timeout taken by Maple Grove, 3:24 to go. I thought when Hampton was handed this ball that it had a chance to do something.
Well, it was the right play call. It was a great play call by Osseo and almost had great execution as well, but you called it. Eric has been in on a number of plays, and it was him, number 20, who made that play and stopped that play from being a successful one, because otherwise it was blocked pretty well. Eric's reaction maybe saved Maple Grove quite a bit of yards.
Be a 3rd and 19 coming up for Osseo out of this timeout here. So Maple Grove sensing a chance to get a stop and, you know, keep the clock in their favor a little bit too. More than likely, probably only going to have one more possession of their own. So you want to give your offense as much of an opportunity to have enough time, but also have decent field position.
And on top of that, right here on this 3rd down play, not only do you want to stop them from getting the 1st down, but I think you want to stop them from getting 5-10 yards. You don't want to put Osseo in a situation to try to convert on 4th down. You want to make a nice stop here along the line of scrimmage or a sack, force Osseo to make it an easy call to punt the football and get the ball back to Maple Grove. And so a big 3rd down upcoming here, and it'll be interesting to see just how aggressive the Crimson defense is in terms of putting pressure on the quarterback.
Maple Grove fans into it. Here's Gillard dropping to throw, all day to throw, deep down the middle into traffic and incomplete as he went for Kittleson. A lot of defenders around, although there was a slight window to try and get that one through, and they nearly got it done.
In my mind, this is an excellent pass. Maple Grove only rushes 3. They got 8 defenders back there, and I think Gillard makes an excellent pass, throws a great football. His receiver gets his arms on the ball, but it's a tough catch to go across the middle of a defense like that and haul that one in. They are.
Gillard will kick it. Trying to pin him deep. Woida drifting back and takes it at the 10. He breaks the first tackle. Bryson Woida coming upfield. Gets a block. Cutting back at midfield and dragged down in Osseo territory at the 48, and then a late hit on the Orioles as well. They piled on him after he was down there and compounding the problem there for Osseo as they will be penalized.
You want to talk about savvy senior leadership? Bryson Woida, realizing that they were going to punt the football here, drops back, fields that ball, and now he's returning it against the offensive line from Osseo. Not the punt coverage team, but he's going up against the offense. That allows him to get some better running room. Instead of a bunch of athletes chasing him around, he's got 5 linemen chasing him once he gets back that first tier. What a big play by Woida for the Crimson. Maple Grove gets a little extra yardage at the end with that late hit.
Yeah, not a good idea there by Sims as he you know, frustrated and wanting to get a piece of that tackle, and he just kind of pounced on him after he was already clearly down. And they'll get it at the 33-yard line. Wow, talk about a momentum switch. I don't think a lot of people really expected Woida to even field that ball. It was a little bit of a gamble to do so, and here they are in business at the 33 with plenty of time to go. Skaya swinging it out. Wallach doesn't have the football anymore. It's going to be an incomplete pass. Recovered by Maple Grove anyway there by Eric Olson, but it's just going to be an incompletion. Never really had it.
Watch the lateral, though. It's backwards. Osseo wanted that call. Maple Grove still got the football, but it would have been a loss of about 5 yards, 6 yards.
And also would have kept the clock going. This way they get the clock stopped, so maybe a bit fortunate there. That's always a real tough one to see. You know,
you're asking these high school officials to make a real tough call, and it's not an easy one, that's for sure.
So 2nd down and 10, and an eventful incompletion there, if you will, for Maple Grove. Skaya will hand it off. Yasoski has a head of steam. Ooh, a saving tackle maybe there, as just getting around the ankles for the Orioles was wrecked. But he will pick up.
Look at the blocking
12.
from the left side of the offensive line. Perhaps the best block along the outside done by the Crimson offensive line. Nahoe gets a great seal on the left end. Nice job done by the Crimson. That was a big one right there, because on 2nd down and 10, run the football, not call Wojda's number, give him a play off, and still get a 1st down. That's a big play.
Boy, and Yasowski, I give him credit for getting up to speed in a hurry there. He knew where he wanted to go. If it was there, he had the momentum going forward as soon as he took that handoff. So from the 21, 1st down. Counter goes to Wojda, and he is wrapped up. Pretty well defended by Osseo as Tim Gervin wrapping him up high.
Gervin does a great job of just staying home here. All the flows going to the other side. He does a great job pushing his blocker in. He realizes something's off here. I'm not getting blocked. Stays at home, makes the tackle.
Loss of a couple on that play. Pretty big defensive play for Osseo. We go under 2 minutes to go now. 2nd and 12. Down by 6 is Maple Grove. Skya rolling to the right. Forced way deep by Wallace, and he's going to throw it away. And Osseo wants an intentional grounding, and they're going to get it. Flag comes out.
Well, the key here is Skya doesn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. It simply goes right down to the turf. He's broke the pocket. What he needs to do is float that ball high and out of bounds. Instead, it goes down against the turf, and unfortunately for Skya and the Crimson, it's going to send them back some yardage as well as getting the incomplete pass.
Yeah, I think if you, like you said, if you just float this one into the bench, they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but he threw this one right at the ground.
And there's no receiver there either to help him out. There's no one in the area. Well, Skya will learn a tough lesson right there, but
loss of down too.
Now, what kind of play do you have in the arsenal? 3rd down and 28. Chunk it in half. You basically got to get 14 yards twice if you're the Crimson.
They snap it to Wallach, flipping it to Skya. Skya throwing deep for Wojda, and it is intercepted. Tussler down the sideline. And he is caught and dragged down there by Maple Grove's Mitch Engel. Little razzle-dazzle there, and it looked like it might be open briefly. The receiver actually ran into a defensive player as well.
Well, here's why this is a tough throw by Skya. He's going to his left rather than his right. It would have been perfect if he didn't have to turn his body, but he's under pressure, has to turn his body, and just has to take a chance. Tussler playing center field. He has no other responsibility than to do that, to make a play, not let anything behind him. Nobody's better in the area than Tussler at playing that spot.
Now, some Maple Grove fans probably thinking it should have been interference there, but Hawley, it looked like the defensive back, he was just in the way, and it was kind of an incidental kind of contact. At least that's the way they ruled it. Here's Tussler taking the handoff, running through a tackler there as he got down low, tried to run over Emmanuel Eric, and actually succeeded for the most part. A quick timeout taken by Maple Grove.
If I'm a diehard Crimson fan, I want that pass interference call, but looking at it objectively, it was just a smart play by the defender, taking the running room away, simply kind of cutting him off, knowing that he had Tussler back there to support. A good chance taken by the Crimson, but Osseo obviously knowing, hey, something tricky is going to happen here. Guard against the deep ball. And the only thing I could have said, it would have been interesting had Skya been on the other side of the field, taking it, running left or right, and not having to shift his body to throw that football. You don't get much power on that throw that way. And of course, he was under a lot of pressure too and just had to get rid of it.
Osseo trying to seal it away here. 2nd and 6 coming up. Boy, the way this game can change in such a hurry. It looked like Osseo, okay, we're in business. Going to try and put things away. Then here comes Maple Grove. They get that long return compounded by a personal foul penalty. And it looked like the Crimson, they got the nice run by Yasowski. I mean, it wasn't very long ago. They look like they might be, you're thinking, okay, extra point or no extra point, do they go ahead or not? And it changed in a hurry. Gillard handing it off here to Tussler. They're trying to rip the football free, of course, there as Field coming up to meet him along with Eric there, and another timeout taken by Maple Grove. Got a couple more, but the main thing is you kept the clock moving, forced them to take a timeout.
And it kind of goes back to me tonight to the penalties, because it's that intentional grounding call, and Sky is going to learn from that one right there. You know, you probably won't see him make that mistake again this year. You know, he'll learn from that. But those penalties tonight have really what stalled Maple Grove's progress, and they've never recovered from those penalties. It could have been a 5-yard false start. They just had a hard time making up that distance that they lost on the penalties. And it just kind of seems like if you go back and look at every possession, there's one of those mixed in there that kind of slowed things down for the Crimson. Still key play for the defense here, trying to make something happen. Of course, it's 4-down territory for the Osseo Orioles. There to make a stop here. They can't stop the clock. It'll get pretty close, but still a little bit of hope on the sidelines of the Crimson.
Hustlers run the ball 25 times here tonight now. Make it 26. Tussler, they're trying to keep that pile moving there. They won't get the first down. The clock will keep running here under a minute.
And that's where you need a defensive injury. Someone needs to cramp up.
Well, Osseo in about a 4th and 2. Going to use up as much of this play clock as they can. And we'll see if they might run it all the way down and then take a timeout, rather than bother with trying to hurry up. And I think that might be what they're going to do. They're going to wait until they got 1 second left and then call a timeout. I think it's a better idea than trying to guess and judge and hurry up and snap it. Oh, that clock didn't stop all that quickly here, considering it's at Maple Grove especially. They'll put it at 15.9 to go. And Osseo using that timeout.
Well, what Osseo wants to do here is put it away, get that first down, never give that Maple Grove a chance with 9 seconds left to see what they can do. One desperate play. Easiest thing right now, offensive line, Bridge Tussler, let's get it done. And let's get a first down. They're calling in a different unit right now, and it's called your goal line offensive unit, your Bulls, whatever they call it at your school. They're bringing in the big dogs. They brought in a couple of guys from the defense. Lakeem Felder's coming onto the field for this snap.
Sounds as though they saw the same thing I did, that the clock didn't stop all that quickly, and they're going to add a little time back on, put it back to 18, which I think is about right. You never know, could make a difference. So 4th down here for Osseo. They'll give it to Cray. Cray fighting his way forward. And it looks like he should have enough, perhaps, for this first down. Yeah, he will have it. And once they'll move the chains and then restart, and Osseo will be able to go celebrate a victory.
Good run along the outside. Excellent block. Boy, they got a good block on the outside. And Cray, I think it's pretty fitting for him to get that run. I think he had a big night. Joel Jacobs got the big block on the outside. They made that first down happen.
So the clock will tick down towards 0, and it was not easy, but Osseo is going to score a road win and continue their recent success against Maple Grove in this series with a 26-20 win. Heck of a battle here. I mean, at various times tonight, Joe, you thought one team, well, okay, now they're in business. It's their turn. They're going to get it. And some big plays back and forth, a lot of penalties, which were certainly factors as well, but Osseo able to pull it out.
Yeah, just a great football game. Boy, this was a fun one to be a part of here tonight, and the series continues to get more and more intriguing each and every time these two teams face off against each other. And in previous years, it's been easy to say, hey, these two teams might see each other in section playoffs. Obviously, this year, the super section's a little bit different. We don't know. It still could happen. These two teams could see each other again. Osseo gets the better. And I think I go back to one thing that both these coaches kind of has said, I want to get this week over with, because once this one's over with, then it's time to focus on the rest of the schedule. They both have bigger aspirations than just knocking off their crosstown rival.
We will take a break. We'll be hearing from some of the victorious Orioles with John Jacobson in just a moment here. A great football game tonight, 26-20. Osseo over Maple Grove. Our coverage continues on 12 Sports after this timeout.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
If you could see anything in the world, what would it be?
I'd love to see Paris.
I like to see cupcakes falling from the sky.
To save your vision in the years ahead, call your eye doctor for a comprehensive eye exam today. Then call 1-800-437-2423 or log on to seeabettertomorrow.org to learn about glaucoma and macular degeneration.
I just want to see more of the things I love.
No matter where you live, life in the oceans depends on you. Do your part to keep them clean. Recycle and dispose of trash properly. To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org.
National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life.
Great rivalry game, and it's Osseo pulling it out on the road 26-20. Let's go down to John Jacobson.
Well, thanks, Jay. I'm with a couple of happy Osseo Orioles, seniors Bridge Tussler and Troy Cray. And Troy, a couple of touchdowns for you, some big plays on defense. How much fun was this for you tonight?
Well, it was a great opportunity to play against our rivals. Getting a chance to run the ball as well as playing defense is always a plus for me. So I just went out there and tried to help our team as best as I could.
You guys got down 13-0 early. What's going through your mind on that side, on the sideline at that time?
Well, last year, we battled through a lot of tough situations, and this year I just kept the same mindset as last year, as it's not over till it's over, and we just played through the last couple minutes, and we ended up with a W.
You got some young players on this team. How proud are you of those guys who stepped up tonight to get a win against a good Maple Grove team?
Yeah, I'm very proud. Everybody's been working really hard in practice. We have a bunch of people stepping up, willing to make the big plays, all trying their best, and it's paying off.
Congratulations on the win. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Bridge Tussler, it's a tough going offensively. I mean, they really stopped you for most of the night. You had some big plays. What was it like trying to run the ball against the Crimson this evening?
I'm sorry to say it felt a lot like Wayzata. A bunch of kind of like pass, down at my ankles a lot. First couple of plays, I got hit my knees, and I'm not used to that. Usually I get hit pretty hard up high, so I can take that. It was very frustrating. I felt like I kind of didn't become a leader for a while. I kind of gave up a little bit, just on me, not on the team, but on me. And I have to work on that. And I also got to work on my leg strength. I felt like last year I had a pretty good year. Maybe I didn't work as hard. And even though now it might be too late, but I'm still going to try. So I pretty much want to work on from here on out becoming a better leader.
Well, you did make the big play on defense, getting an interception late. Tell me what you saw on that play as the ball's coming up in the air.
Bryson Wetter, he's been kicking my butt on, we call it a 9, but a post route. He comes across the middle. And I saw Blake Skya, their quarterback, in that slot position in the first half. And I knew he was the quarterback, and I knew, you're not going to run it to the quarterback side. He's your quarterback, And so I knew he was going to get the ball and throw it. I didn't know where. Bryson went middle. I figured, we're up, let him catch it in front of me. Holly made a great play by breaking it up in the beginning. The ball just happened to fall for me. God led me to that path, caught it, and I just ran. Made sure I held on to the ball, because the line pro always says hold on to the ball at the end of the game. And that's pretty much what happened.
2-0 start. to begin the season. How does this set up the rest of your year, getting 2 wins out of the gate?
I don't want to say that was our biggest game, but it was a big win. You know, I don't think we knew how big that game was until halftime, or maybe even before, maybe even after that. So from here on, this is way more confidence. We're down 13-0, and a lot of these guys are young. Only a couple of us played when we were down 21-0 to Blaine. So now that we all know what it feels like to be down 2 possessions, now we all can kind of get that confidence to realize the game's not over, like Troy said, until it's actually over, until there's zeros across the time clock. So I feel like right now this is a big booster. Gave us all, I think this is the biggest experience booster. So that's pretty much what I think we learned from this game.
Enjoy this one. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir.
All right, great win for the Osseo Orioles, coming back, and they pull it out by a final score of 26-20. Jay and Joe, back up to you for some final thoughts.
John, and tell you what, not just good football players, those guys are pretty good speakers down there too.
Yeah, and you're seeing a commitment to leadership from Bridge Tussler, and I think that has to be a real welcome experience to listen to for this coaching staff when they catch wind of this interview, because you're looking at a guy who's coming off a victory, but he has the kind of perspective to look at it and say, hey, I kind of let my team down a little bit in that first half. I think I could have maybe kept us from going down 13-0, but we still bounced back. These young guys learned a lot from it, and then he learned something as well within himself. So a great victory for Osseo, and then maybe some good learning lessons to come out of it.
And for Maple Grove, a lot of good things tonight. Just a couple things didn't go their way in the big times. A great rivalry game, but Osseo pulls it out, so they've now won 6 of 7 in the series here against the Crimson. Well, we certainly hope you've enjoyed tonight's game. It's been an interesting one, and best of luck to the teams throughout the rest of the regular season here as well. Osseo moves to 2-0. Maple Grove falls to 1-1. For Joe Moline, John Jacobson, and all of our 12 Sports crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Once again, your final score in this one, Osseo 26, Maple Grove 20.